All right, what is going on, Rocket League fans? We have returned, okay? This is the Spring Split EU Regional number 2. This is what we're calling the Tour de Rocket League. I'm joined again by Cole and Stumpy. Stumpy, welcome.
Not quite. I'm trying to blend in here, trying to steal Stumpy's job over here. You guys are going to have to put up one extra day this weekend. Yeah, I did decide to go with, well, I'll leave it up to you to decide. Is it black? Is it green screened out? But yeah, we're playing today.
You are a floating head. I like it.
It's like the new, what was it, white or blue dress? Are you wearing green or are you wearing black?
No, you're going to get the chat going. Okay, don't.
Green or black, people.
Listen, Johnny Boy is new for day one with us here today, but we still have the same format in terms of our main broadcast, and then we have team streams to go with every single stream. You know, we can't cover every single game here on the main broadcast. We're only going to cover 4 series. So where are you going to find the other ones? Go on Twitch, look up your favorite team, find their broadcast, maybe your favorite team, maybe a team you want to check out, see what they got going on, see how they're faring against the competition. Team streams, that's something we want to push to you guys. Now let's check out the point standings, all right? As it's looking right now, all right? We're a little bit into the year. This is, once again, the total points for the whole year. Johnny, you talked before we went live, the importance of making top 6. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, right now, for Worlds, EU have got 6 spots, 3 to the wildcard, 3 to the main event. That is subject to change if EU has a phenomenal land in Major, but top 6 is the cutoff right now. Really, you've just got to get as high on this thing as possible. Top 7, your outside chance of making Worlds. Even 8 has an outside chance, but top 6 at the moment is where you want to be.
All right, well, switching over to the prize pool, we can see what's up for grabs for the teams here today. Obviously, we got the prize money as always with each placement, but of course it is the points that mattered. All right, number 1 is walking home with 401 points. Very, very important here into the spring split. If we can check out the spring points, I believe we have that coming up as well to show how the teams are doing. Obviously, this is regional 2, so you're essentially seeing the breakdown of how it all went down in regional 1. Now, Cole, all right, obviously last week BDS, they were the winners. One might argue, you know, easy on paper in terms of it was 4-0 in the grand final, but obviously the games were much closer, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be Team BDS and Moist Esports going into this split that we're going to be the top 2 in Europe. We assumed, and for once we were actually correct in our predictions, because Team BDS pretty much swept through everybody. I'd say that the quote-unquote real final was the upper bracket final between them and Moist Esports, which was much closer. But also credit to Solary, you know, a brand new team, and they came up against Moist Esports, took them all the way to a Game 7 overtime. Vitality with Radosin now instead of Fairy Peak are up there as well. Carmine Corp trying to make a major, Misfits trying to make a major for the first time. And then I'd say another interesting story down there in 8th, Team Liquid. They had never made a regional up in this season until last week when they finished top 8, and they've made this one again. So starting to look like finally that August finding just a little bit of success.
Johnny, was there anything that surprised you from the results from regional 1?
Definitely. I didn't think I'd see Dignitas down here. They had a disappointing winter major, but that form has kind of carried on into the online era again. They're going to need to bounce back into that top 5. They're going to need a deep run this event and the next one. Also, Evil Geniuses, even farther down. That's a winter major team struggling. So 2 teams down there that you really wouldn't expect to. And also Endpoint, although they've got a new player, so maybe we could blame Archie for that one. I don't think I would. I know some people will be if they don't have the results that they formerly did with Seiko.
And it could be massive for Worlds as well, because if a team like Evil Geniuses doesn't make London, suddenly their place in the overall leaderboard is really able to be overtaken by the teams just below them.
Well, let's check out the bracket real quick, okay? The double elimination format is something that we have introduced. Obviously, you saw it in Regional 1. This is going to be the breakdown of the matches. Once again, we do want to push for the team streams on Twitch, and make sure to check out your favorite team where they might be. Johnny, any interesting matches that catches your eye right off the rip?
I mean, this is, I think, the most stacked online top 16 that I've ever seen. These look like unbelievably stacked matchups across the board, but take a look at EG Liquid. That's a rematch from the last regional where Liquid were able to beat Evil Geniuses. BDS and Luminosity once again on a collision course in early on into the competition. But from top to bottom, these are all, I think, really, really interesting matches and the most stacked bracket I've ever seen.
I mean, Cole, do you see any like emerging storylines here, right? Is it the BDS era that we're about to see here, or do you see an underdog story kind of emerging here?
I mean, if you're asking me who I think is going to win this event, the answer would be BDS. We've got G2, your boys, running so well in North America at the moment, winning the first couple. I can see BDS doing the same right now. For me, that battle is for that top 5. And K-Corp versus Misfits in this first round could be huge, because in both of the splits so far, Misfits have come into a really good position going to the final event and then not made the LAN. K-Corp as well always have such sky-high expectations and haven't achieved them either. So these are the sort of games that teams like that need to be beating. But as Johnny said, there are storylines for literally every single matchup that we can see in front of us right now.
I want us to remember this, Cole, okay? Let's lock that in, chat, okay? Yeah. Cole is saying BDS is going to win regional number 2.
It's not controversial.
I know it's not controversial, but listen, people love their predictions, so we're going to lock yours in. Hashtag Cole, never wrong, right? That's what we're going to go with. Let's check out our round 1 matchup we are going to be checking out is Vitality versus Solary. Now, this is going to be an interesting one. Obviously, Vitality being able to make top 4, Solary top 3. Johnny, who do you think has this one? Who has your number?
Wow, this is just crazy. Just like Cole said, we've got last event's 5th, 6th place playing against each other in round 1. We've got last event's 3rd and 4th playing against each other in round 1 as well, because Solary, the new team, coming in with a lower seed. But I think they're going to come out victorious, just as they did in last in the last regional we saw. The two teams did play. Solary, for me, I think have the edge in the matchup.
All right, Cole, throwing it over to you. All right, who do you got? What is your prediction?
What is my prediction? I think that last week, or 2 weeks ago, sorry, in the first regional, Vitality didn't really impress me that much. They got 4th, but I think that they grinded their way through series where they weren't playing particularly well. I think Radosin looked a little bit nervous to be stepping in the shoes of Fairy Peak. A few days ago, we had Rizzo's scrims, a best of 7, and they 4-0'd Dignitas. And Radosin, he was demanding that ball. He was saying, give it to me. I'm going for an air dribble. I'm going to get us some goals. And he is really making a statement for himself on this Vitality roster. So it's a good sign for Vitality. They look a lot more confident in themselves. Saying that, my prediction is still Solary, because they are doing everything else of them so far. And Vitality, I can just see them being squeezed out the game.
All right, well, listen, chat, we're going to turn to you. We're opening up our fan vote for the game. Use the hashtag that you see on screen. Is Cole right? All right? Is Johnny Boy right? Or maybe you guys have a different prediction in mind. All right? Get your votes in. Get your votes in. Okay, listen, Cole, let me ask you this. What does Vitality have to do to beat Solary then?
Vitality have to make sure that Alpha and Radosin get the ball as much as possible. I feel like sometimes they can be a little bit passive in defense. The amount of times you see all 3 Vitality players just camped on their own goal line as their opponents are charging down towards them, and you're screaming at them. You're saying, someone charge the ball down, close them. Solary are so good at their 50-50 game that, Johnny, maybe you'll disagree, but I can see Vitality struggling in that regard, and they're going to have to take the fight to Solary a lot more than what we've seen from them recently.
Cole, you underestimate yourself. I agree with pretty much everything you've said today so far. I think that Vitality, Radosin will have a step up compared to the last regional where he looked nervous. And I agree, yeah, the Solary have got the 50-50 game. They've got that consistency, that very, very solid style, that controlled style. They wait for overcommitments and then they punish on the counter-attack. Obviously, we saw a little bit of adjustment from them when things were not going so well against Moist. They tried to press a bit more, tried to pin Moist back.
What series that was.
First Vitality, I don't think they need to do that. I think we're just going to see them stick to their main game plan, which is to get behind the ball, just make it as difficult for Vitality to score as possible, and eventually wait for that overcommitment, which doesn't even need to be a massive overcommitment against Solary. It can just be the smallest overextension where somebody takes a bad challenge or just gets beaten to the ball. That's when Solary will hit Vitality in the counter-attack.
Saying that, though, I mean, Alpha 54 is really coming into form again. He looks a lot more comfortable. Now he's not playing with K-Dot and Fairy Peak. We have discussed a lot behind the scenes which one of those 2 players should have been replaced. I think either of them being replaced suddenly gives Vitality a lot more space on the pitch, and they do feel less rushed in many ways. So he is certainly capable of 1v3ing Solary. Radosin increasingly as well is able to do the same. Obviously, at the moment, we're in a place where K-Dot will always be the question mark for Vitality. But I think if he can show solidity, then that could be their way through against Solary.
Guys, I wanted to ask you guys before we jump into game 1 here. obviously this change of format, right? Going from kind of the group stage day one into the double elimination. How do you think that kind of changes or affects how maybe players prep, or maybe how their mindset is going into each match and each series?
Well, you've just got to go in with the perfect mentality from the get-go. You don't have a warm-up game here. You don't have the luxury of losing once and then still progressing into the next stage through a group or through a Swiss. You've got to start strong. And I think the more consistent team from what we've seen has been Solary. So that, I think the format even favors them as well.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot on the line. I mean, we're talking about the spring split, the importance here of doing well. We got the fan results here coming in 60%, 59%
That's
in favor
wow.
of Solary. Almost down the middle. Almost down the middle. Well, we're going to get ready here. All right. Game one is about to begin. Let's see whose prediction is going to be right. All right, chat. Are you going to be right, or is it going to be... Well, actually, you guys were all on the same page. Never mind.
Let's
see if
we're
you're
all
going to be correct.
Agreeing.
Take it
Well,
away.
let's see. Maybe for once, everybody is on the same page and everybody is actually right there as we see a rematch of the 3rd and 4th place teams from the 1st regional. Johnny, how impressed have you been with Vitality since bringing in Radosin?
I've been very impressed. I think anything inside top 5 is ideal for Vitality after the disastrous split they had in the winter. They are just trying to get back to major qualification, back to that level. But Solary, they made their debut, their RLCS debut together in the last event. It's not the first time we've seen these players have success together. They did, of course, in IWO last year. They've done it in off-season tournaments, a lot off-season, between split tournaments, I should say. And this is the dangerous thing for Vitality. This is a team who are experienced, but there's a miss early on, though able to step in, cover it.
Yeah, it's a decent start though from Solary here. Mike Boy's going to keep it going onto the backboard. Radosin has to be so careful. Almost disastrous Vitality defense right at the off, but we're already seeing what we talked about from Solary, that they will just keep that pressure going. Every 50-50 you will expect is going to go their way because they are so good at that game. And it's been a constant battle as Radosin puts this one on target, naturally scores it. I was going to say between who's best for Solary, but Radosin shuts me up.
And check it out, K-Dop at the infield absolutely nails it, calls it early, and you've got to nail that pass. That is not a play where they've got a third man ready to follow up. Alpha 54 was in the corner. If the defense read that pass faster than Radosin does, faster than K-Dop can communicate it, that could just as easily be 1-0 for Solary, but it shows the confidence K-Dop had in nailing that pass straight infield to Radosin, and Radosin well played. Perfect positioning.
Vitality of confidence can be a very scary thing, Johnny, because, I mean, this is a team that historically are used to winning, and it feels like as soon as they remember that, they will turn into the predator in the pond again, which has been something that's evaded them for a very long time. And hopefully, as far as they're concerned, this roster change will bring them back towards that golden era of Vitality winning absolutely everything as Alpha comes around the side. He's got the corner. Look at him trying to slow the ball down. Wants to get involved as possible. K-Dot showing some pace as well.
Yes.
Vitality looks so quick.
And they're getting all three involved in the attack as well. This is not the nervous approach that Vitality had in the past. They are going for this. They're 1 goal up already, and they're still committing all 3 players to every attack. They're trusting each other to make those touches, and they're not worried, about the potential whiff, the potential of a player getting beaten to the ball. They're just going at Solary with mechanical plays, letting their experience do the talking.
Already, in my opinion, passing the eye test more than they did in that first regional, despite going pretty well and finishing in the top 4. As Thor goes to the corner, but Radosin, he's already there waiting for it. As I said earlier on, just desperate to the ball, for the ball, wants to be so involved in every Vitality attack. Goes to the corner, a brilliant dunk again on Tho, and suddenly it's Solary that can't clear their lines.
Yeah, this is exactly what you need from Vitality. This is a start that I really didn't expect from them. I've got to hand it to them. They look so lively. They are really just... They're smothering Solary, and they don't look vulnerable while doing it, which is the crazy part. So this is what Solary try and do to teams. They try and bait them in, and they try and get that one critical outplay, that one touch that will create an open net at the other side of the field. But Vitality aren't leaving any gaps, and they've done so for 3 minutes now. Stunning rotation.
The question could be, if and when Vitality do concede a goal, will they retract into their shell somewhat, or will they keep this one going?
Yeah.
Kado puts that one just over Tho with the save. That's going to be Alpha over the top of Radosin. Getting involved still. Radosin's going to come into this one, though. Actually, it's going to be Mike Boy for Solary that completely beats him to the ball. Kato keeps it going, and that is where Vitality can let themselves down into fence. As soon as Solary get it across, Vitality look vulnerable, but they have survived with 1 minute and 30 left.
Yeah, it's so important that Vitality didn't concede there, because that was, I think, the first time in the entire game where it looked like they made a mistake. Whiff came through, a touch in the wrong direction, and Oli did have an uncontested shot at the top corner, which turned out to be just too difficult, too much of an angle. Vitality right back into the same rhythm. Like you mentioned, they've not yet conceded. They don't doubt themselves. They're going to continue marching forward.
Oh, they're so close to each other. Radosin and Kadop were about 5 feet away from each other, which is going to give Solary so much space to play into. Can they make the most of it? Again, no, though. A 50-50 is won by Vitality. They're winning these second balls and beating their opponents for pace and unafraid to challenge them no matter where they are on the pitch. Oli's going to try and get over Kadop and does, but how far can he go? Only as far as Alpha. And look at Kadop. He's staying forward. He's causing all sorts of havoc, and Alpha's pre-flip makes it 2-0.
Yeah, Kadop doesn't nail it. He doesn't connect the challenge, but he does force the play to go straight towards Alpha, bumps the next man in on Solary, and that leaves it completely open for Alpha to pre-flip the ball into the top corner. A brilliant off the ball work there from Kadop. Didn't connect on his challenge, but he knew exactly what to do after the fact.
Mate, it's only game 1, so I'm not going to exaggerate, but I think Vitality might be the best team in the world.
This is a return to form, certainly. Radosin looks so confident. Kadop as well looks very confident. This, I think, might be just as important as Radosin's confidence. Kadop needs to feel comfortable on this roster, because when Kadop and Radosin are playing with confidence, when there's no hesitation from this team, that makes life so easy for Alpha 54. He doesn't need to think, what are my teammates doing? He just knows what they're doing. And clearly right now, they're communicating everything that they do perfectly. And this might actually lead to Solary needing to have a change of game plan. They sat back here in game 1, waiting for the Vitality misplays, which didn't really happen a great deal. And Vitality deservedly win the opening game in the best of 5.
Mate, I'm telling you, they're back. This is the golden era of Vitality. Based on that first game, that was exactly what I wanted to see from them for such a long time. Apart from one awkward touch from Kadop at the back, I wasn't nervous for them. I wasn't looking at the match through sort of like, through my hand, thinking, oh no, they're about to do something really silly, which has been the case now since at least the end of RLCS X, but even large swathes of RLCS X as well. They were comfortable. They were rotating around each other well. All 3 of them were involved. Alpha wasn't greedy because he didn't have to be. There are a couple of moments where they were a little bit close, but I mean, for all we've talked up Solary, Team Vitality looked brilliant.
I mean, so far, how is the prediction looking? Do you guys still feel secure in your prediction? Does
Really
chat still feel secure? No,
I don't.
Everything is out the window immediately.
Well, I think Solary have still got levels to their game. They're not stuck in this one play style where they just let Vitality come at them. I think they need to come out the gate hotter in game number 2. This isn't a long best of 7 with a timeout to work with. They've got to go for it now in game 2 because Vitality have come to play. They've come to win. They're not playing that safe strategy. Okay, let's try and not lose that we've seen from Vitality in the past.
I'm trying to keep track of some of the other matches. We have a lot of matches happening at the same time. Team streams is the word, chat. We just had, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Aogiri defeated Moist Esports in game number 1.
Oh,
right?
wow.
We have Liquid up 4-1. We have BDS winning the first match against Navi 4-0. And there are more results on the way. Team streams, my friends, please take it away, game 2.
Go and watch them. Go and watch every single stream that you can at the same time, everybody. If you've got 16 eyes because you have 2 spiders, and watch. Right, watch lots of games at once. That's what I'm trying to say. Whether or not you're 2 spiders. Johnny, can you speak? I need to stop talking.
I think that's a perfectly good analogy. Don't sell yourself short.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Johnny. Yeah, all right.
Let's just briefly mention, by the way, because that was the one question mark in the bracket. A lot of people looking at this bracket top to bottom see that Aogiri team and think, well, who's that? Well, actually, it's VK Salin, who played a great RLCS Season X. He's back in form. Ocelon, who we've seen in and out of these regionals for the past couple of years. So that's a known name. Also a player with a great ones background. But a new wonder kid on the block, Stizzy, the Spanish 15-year-old. He's just now old enough to play RLCS. This is his first event. So that's a really, really exciting matchup there against Moist. Huge challenge. I mean, Moist, massive favorite there, but don't underestimate Aogiri. I'm not lying. When I said this whole bracket, top to bottom is stacked, I meant including them, not but them.
The return of Spanish Rocket League as well, after, I believe, not having a player in the last regional for the first time in a while. So more stuff that's good to see. And Vitality will be pretty happy with how this second game has started. They're still feeling confident. Any questions that Solary are going to come out, step their game up and just destroy them have been well and truly put to bed in this opening minute and a half. But here is those yet to really get involved. It was in the conversation of MVP of the entire tournament in the first regional. Redosin, though, when they counter, Vitality looks so good. They can mix up the approach. They can 50-50 with the best of them.
Alpha 54 finds Redosin on the sidewall, and Solary have done exactly what we mentioned. They're really trying to press here. That was 2 players committed, but Redosin solos the last man, and K-Dop was an option in field, so they weren't completely stuck here in one lane. They did have multiple threats. That makes it so much more difficult for the defender to cover all the angles.
So he's going to try and get a really quick response now. He's going for an air dribble instead, taking the elevated route, setting up Mike Boy. Redosin got the save on the goal line, but this is where Vitality can struggle when their opponents are pushing down upon them. Look how deep they all are, just waiting for a chance to go forward instead of attacking the ball. This time it has worked out though, and Redosin can do his favorite thing, an air dribble away from his own half. Oli now can get a clean touch. Mike Boy's up for the redirect. It's past K-Dop. Alpha and K-Dop both going for that one. Vitality have to be a little bit careful for the next 30 seconds or so, I feel. They've got their lead. What they don't want to do is throw it away, which can happen so quickly when you're up against Solary.
I think they're really going about holding on to this lead the right way, though. Just as they did in game number 1, they're advancing, they're attacking. They aren't giving Solary a ton of options to shoot at net and to see the goal up close. They're just believing in each other. Then I think this is just evidence that the first regional performance that we saw from Vitality wasn't a flash in the pan. It wasn't just a little honeymoon period with the new signing. K-Dop looks rejuvenated completely, and Alpha 54 is trusting his teammates, something that hasn't been happening for most of this season. What a step up by Redosin. Huge solo goal in this game. Now they look to add a second to the tally. Rado's coming in for it. Top corner, denied by Oli.
More clean shots though from Vitality, and Solary having to do even more defending as we get into the heart of this second game. Here's Thodo coming forward. Solary are able to do so on occasion, not quite at will at the moment. And now they're getting some clean touches, but Alpha is beating them to the ball. Oli was back, and thankfully for Solary, that could have been so dangerous. They just rolled all the way home if Oli wasn't ready. He keeps it going. Redosin here with a redirect. He goes for the instant shot. It's so much creativity from Vitality right now. And what's really impressed me about Redosin as Alpha 54 comes in is that there are times that I'm thinking he's going to pass and he goes solo. There are times I'm thinking he's going to go solo and he's just doing a quick shot. You know, he really is making Solary keep guessing what he can offer.
That, you know, it increases the ceiling of this Vitality roster. Because as much of a world beater Alpha 54 is, you need multiple threats these days. Any team needs multiple threats, and that's enabling Alpha to find more space, because Solary need to be worried about K-Dop. They need to be worried about Redosin at the moment. They're hitting the ball hard, they're power clearing, they're shooting, passing well, and they're really doing a great job of stifling all the Solary offense, limiting them to just 3 shots in over 4 minutes.
Every time they get a ball Vitality as well, they're just able to keep it for those few extra seconds, take some time off the clock, and allow their teammates to pick up boost. It's making it so difficult for Solary. Look at K-Dop still involved, not getting the ball, but putting them off. Mike Boy, though, has broken through, wants to take out Alpha, but K-Dop have managed to get himself back because Vitality continue to support each other in attack and defense. The balance that they're showing, I like what we've seen from them for a while. 30 seconds left, and Oli has to turn down that approach. They're just closing down Solary so well, Vitality.
Yeah, great ball pressure. I'm loving what I'm seeing from K-Dop. He's completely out of boost, but he's just sprinting straight back to the ball to help his teammates out. And is it going to be Solary overextending? It is. Redosin gets his second goal. And Vitality, for the second game in a row, lead by 2, but importantly, with clean sheets. This is impressive, coming out from the legends of EU.
It was just a frustrated touch there from Solary, hitting the ball backwards just to get something on it. And Redosin was waiting for it and able to put it away. We are on the cusp of Solary needing a reverse sweep against Vitality in round number 1. The 3rd placed finishers from the first regional about to just be so far away from winning this first game. Team Vitality are playing better than we've seen them play in such a long time right now.
They look like the real deal right now. There were a couple of moments in this game where things looked awkward. It looked like even Alpha, Rodolfo, or K-Dub definitely running out of boost at times, but they're never relinquishing ball pressure. They're putting it on Solary. They're forcing Solary to make plays, and they're not falling for any of the Solary traps. And they're not overextending into that back corner, but they're still maintaining pressure while they avoid overextending. They're not diving into those 50-50s that Solary dominated in the first regional. They're just controlling the ball. They're actually beating Solary at their own game while preventing every attack almost and every shot on net and creating a bunch of their own.
Vitality seems to be in rare. Is this a new Vitality we're seeing? I don't know what's going on.
I think it is.
Listen, it's fantastic to see. And this might be a first, if this is going to be a sweep, that it actually is a sweep on the main broadcast. Typically, we always go game 5. So maybe this is the one to kind of shake things up a little bit. Aogiri is up 2-0 against Moist Esports after winning 4-0 in their series.
Crazy.
Okay? We had Carbon Corp. They're up 2-0 against Misfits. Luminosity Semper, they're tied up 1-1 in their series. Navi took one game off of BDS just now. Dignitas, I'm unsure about their second game. But yeah, results are coming in and the action is heating up.
The action is so hot right now in this series, our feature one between Vitality and Solary. Solary have to get a big old reverse sweep if they are to avoid going into the lower bracket. And remember, only 2 lives. In double elimination, once you lose, you've only got 1 more loss left and you are out of here. So Solary have to wake up quick or their entire tournament is on the cusp of just ending as soon as it started. It's a better start for them, but Vitality, they're so far answering the questions in defense. They could get a perfect sweep here, Johnny.
Every time that I've seen Vitality play this season, I'm wondering, okay, when's the goal coming? It just looks like they're going to concede, and it looks like they're going to overextend. It looks like things are going to go wrong, but there's just something about the way that they're playing right now. And I'm afraid to say it when the series isn't even over, but they look so solid. And even when you're seeing double commits or awkward positions, the third man's dealing with it. They're not panicking. They have so much trust in each other at the moment. It's wonderful to see from a team who have struggled all season. But Solary, meanwhile, have to have a big step up here. They're going to go for a 1v2 play, but well dealt with again. Alpha 54 left all in the back, just sends the ball to safety. Maybe Solary couldn't get that under control and utilize an off-the-ball play.
Look how many extra touches Alpha 54 gets as well. From that awkward moment in defense when he just had to keep the ball out, suddenly he's down the opposite end, in the corner, getting extra touches, putting his opponents under pressure, but that one's going to put his teammates under pressure. K-Dop tracked it from the ceiling, managed to get in the way, and Solary is starting to look a little bit frustrated. Some of their touches going straight up in the air instead of being clean. And Vitality are just punishing everything they're doing. What a pinch that was from Alpha. They can just change up pace so well. That's going to close down Oli. Oli with more good 50-50 play, but Alpha's waiting for it. It's like they've studied the Solary playbook, and they're challenging them to a T.
Alpha really utilizing pinches from awkward positions to accelerate the ball unexpectedly at Solary. Thought for a moment there, just a few seconds ago, that Vitality were falling for the Solary 50-50 trap as Oli controlled 2 with no boost. It's something that they really have just got such an expert hand at. Now Mike Boy's got some space, completely fails to flick shot coming in, but no, he gets the bar. Solary have got to do better. That was a flurry and the best one they've had all series long, and they've missed it.
You just know that a couple of weeks ago, Tho is thinking that one, but not to be today. Maybe this time, K-Dub somehow with another amazing save on Tho. Maybe he got bumped or just avoided it. Mike Boy gets up, can Alpha finally be beaten? Yes, he can. Mike Boy has had enough and blasts it home.
Yeah, look at Mike Boy just shoving the ball past everybody. He walked through the entire Vitality defense, and it's just another 50-50 masterclass coming out of Solary. Vitality made them work for that, though. That was some great goalkeeping by K-Dub under pressure. With just under half the game to go, Vitality trail for the first time in the series.
Such an important moment in this series. Vitality needs to make sure they don't let anything else go. They're 1 goal down. Got to shake it off and get over it, but Oli's bullying his way through again. Maybe he gets to steal this boost as well. I'm not sure if he got it. I think he did on the way out. So Vitality could be a little bit starved just for a second as Tho's beating K-Dot. Mike Boy's waiting for this to see if there's a mistake from Alpha. There wasn't. Alpha's touch was good, and his second one, sort of a reverse Doomsy dish there in defense. And now Radosa can go for the edge, but wants to go solo. He scored their first goal last map in a solo manner. Can he do so again? Not yet. As Tho clears long, but Vitality seems to have weathered the storm for now.
Yeah, they're they've escaped that minute or so where Solary were all over them, and now they've got to get their offense going again. Alpha sneaks it past one, but Radosin wasn't ready to follow up on him. Looks like Solary were the more prepared to do so. They actually collide, and this is going to lead into a Vitality attack. There's not a lot of boost for them. K-Dop lands the demo, and they've just barely managed to accelerate that one through. Solary parted like the Red Sea. K-Dop making plays at both ends of the field.
They was just so desperate to get back and take a bump as well. He was really trying, but he was just swatted away, ignored by Alpha 54. Vitality of their equalizer as Alpha and Mike Boy go for the same ball. Alpha wins it out, and he goes high as well. Alpha going solo is a scary thing for any defense, but Oli was ready for it. It falls to K-Dop now. He wants to pass the ball to Radosin. Manages to do it. K-Dop seeming still to have so much time on the ball and getting these reads, solid touches as well. Just solidity is what he's showing. Radosin this time. Now it's the Vitality squeeze. Oli needs to be aware of Alpha, trying to close him down. Now the 1v1 game. Oli wins it by not jumping. K-Dop just gets somewhat challenged by Oli, who just refuses to go away. But then Fo misses. Suddenly K-Dop's through. Solary are doing so well in the challenge game in the center, but these all-important touches just aren't happening for them. And Vitality, they are looking like they're going to punish them. They're looking better going into this last 40 seconds.
Yeah, they are, but that's a key demo, double demo in fact. This game turns into a 2v2 for a brief moment. Oli trying to back pass, does so well. Inside 30 now, K-Dop leaving it to run through for Radosin, who gets dunked on by Tho, but it's not going to be sent to a dangerous location yet. It was 20 seconds ago. Alpha with a back pass of sorts to K-Dop, who's been following up on him excellently here. Alpha reads the downward bounce and dunks on Tho's attempted center ball as well. This is danger for Solary. They're a bit stretched thin.
Radosin, though, has got no boost. He wants to get this 100 and does. But Fo will have a clean touch there. Can there be one more chance for a redirect or a 50-50 or anything? No, not on that occasion. Solary have got to score this goal, or else they go down to the lower bracket and we'll have a long old journey to get anywhere in this tournament. Alpha might win it early for Vitality here. It's across the face of goal, but K-Dop can't send it home.
Yeah, Solary knew Alpha wouldn't have a lot of boost there. Its kickoff just happened. They trusted that he wouldn't get the angle shot. Now it's at the other end of the field, so Oli incorrectly guesses where Tho is waiting behind him. I think he could have maybe passed that a little bit better towards Tho, but that angle proved to be too difficult. Now Radosin at the other end, trying to snipe the target. Mike Boy easily saves.
Alpha's going to try and keep the attack going up against Tho, but Tho is up to the pace here. He's the player who's looking most likely for Solary to try and take this one by the scruff of the neck, despite it being Mike Boy who's got the only goal in this game, and indeed this series for Solary. Alpha around the side wants to beat Tho, wants to take them out as well. K-Dop, could he finish it here? Almost. Tho from the side, more good defending from Solary, who have upped the game, looking speedier now, looking more dangerous. Vitality looking like they could overcommit and throw something away, but that's a clean touch for K-Dop. Alpha's going to turn it down and leave it just for Tho because he knows that K-Dop's going around the side to win that. But the 50-50 game for Solary, it's a cliche at this point, but it is so strong. They just bulldoze their way from one half to the other, but Radosin in the end can take to the skies.
Yeah, solid from Radosin. That was really well dealt with by Vitality. They called the bluff and refused to walk into that challenge that Solary were baiting them. Now they've got cleaner chances at the other end of the field. Oli lands on it out of nowhere though. Radosin going to pressure him on the retreat and stay active in the play. Tho shifting to the middle for himself, but denied by K-Dop, who is having a massive step-up performance so far today. We're wondering if it was going to be Alpha carrying. Would it be Radosin? Well, K-Dop has turned this into a triple threat. He's turned it into a very much three-man rotation, which have been solid in defense as well. We should have known. Approaching the end of the season, this guy's a born winner. Every season he finds a way. As he centers to Alpha, Mike Boy does well to deflect that one into the corner.
Oli's eventually able to get this ball away, but Radosin is already in the air. Vitality have stepped up yet again. That second touch from Radosin is going to make things a little bit awkward for Mike Boy, but the transition's good. This could be a chance for a redirect from Tho. It's a little bit heavily, so K-Dop can just boom it away, and maybe we've approached that point that every overtime gets, that things do get a little bit safe, a little bit boomery. Alpha getting all these extra touches. He gets so many touches where other players would only get one. It's so difficult to defend against if you're up against Alpha. As Mike Boy and Tho get in each other's way, Radosin backflips. But Alpha was back. That demo though could open things up. Here's Oli up against Radosin. Oli tries to go over the top of Radosin, but Radosin with more solid defending. Tho now is closed down by K-Dop, and Vitality, they're not all diving into the same ball in defense.
Oh my, Radosin with a great mind game. Pinch in defense from Oli goes flying to the halfway line. I'm impressed that Redosin at the other end of the field just moments ago was able to fly off the back wall and successfully challenge as Boomer comes through the other end. Redosin, backboard to K-Dop, and also looking for the backboard, though, collects it, walks it into the corner.
This is where Solary have done most of their best work from their own half, just dribbling forwards, not jumping, while Vitality try and charge into them and it backfires. But there's a massive demo out for a couple of touches. Oh, he tried to be too clever. Maybe he could have just left it to one of his teammates, but it was decent defending in the end to get back in time when all hope seemed lost.
He didn't know, when he flew up for that, he wasn't expecting it to be open, and it is at the other end now, and it's an own goal. Solary take game 3. Just moments after Alpha 54 misses an open net, and I think it was Alpha now who might have deflected that on target. Again, he didn't think that the ball was going to come through to him, but twice at the end of the game, Alpha 54 not in the right place and definitely not at the right pace, and it is Vitality who have thrown away the sweep.
Guys, it would have been too simple with this sweep. You know what I mean? It would have been too simple, right? So let's play some more matches of Rocket League. Why not? All right. Speaking of sweeps, though, okay? Carmine Corp has done it, all right? They 3-0'd Misfits game, and they are the first team to sweep. We had Moist Esports finally waking up a little bit, and they were able to stop the sweep that was coming in from Aogiri. We have Dignitas up 2-0 in their series. Navi is up 2-1 in their series against BDS. So there's a lot going on, all right? Semper is up 2-1 in their series. There's a lot going on.
Moist and BDS are both losing 2-1 in round 1. I mean, I got to be honest here. You know, it would be very easy for me to say, see, I told you this bracket is stacked. Look at all of the favorites losing.
You did say it.
I think I've incorrectly predicted every single round 1 match at the same time here. So I'm not going to brag for even a second. This is unpredictable as ever. We should have known because it is EU.
Listen, we can't all be teammates, okay? I hear the man is never wrong. I don't know. I saw a hashtag somewhere.
Hashtags
I can't really confirm or deny. Hashtags do never lie. Correct.
All right, then. Wow. Okay, well, this series came to life there when Vitality just seemed to be able to see it away in the last. Solary looking a little bit more like their former selves. They look a lot faster, a lot more sure of themselves. And like they're able to at least make Vitality think a little bit when they're in defense. Now, the big question, Johnny, can Vitality step up from what we've seen from them so far now that clearly they have to?
I think definitely. It's all about the mental regain. That's the only question mark. I know that based on what we've seen today, K-Dop is playing a blinder. This is all you can ask for K-Dop, especially given the poor season he's had by his absolutely impeccable standards. And Redosin, the more expected step up, I think, after a nervous Regional 1. So this is not too unusual, but Alpha 54 was the one who made a couple of mistakes in that last game. He, like I mentioned, he flew up for a double tap, thinking he would have to outplay a last defender, but he actually had an open net. And had he been a bit more patient on the takeoff, he would have scored it. And he has here. Speaking of open nets, they're gifted one early on, but K-Dop has done really well there to spot Alpha lurking in the midfield again. Assisting, defending, scoring. K-Dop doing it all today. Can't really fault him.
Great pass, exactly. Yeah, that was such a nice pass there from K-Dop in the infield. And Alpha, I mean, that's one way to shake off the rust after a poor end to a game, just to get a beautiful redirect, boom the ball home, a beautiful angle as well. So we're going to come back. K-Dop needs to win this, and he's not able to, and it's the quick response.
Yeah, that did end up being a bit awkward for K-Dop there. He darted back low boost and just couldn't get the read quickly enough. Got a piece of that ball, but still got a much bigger chunk of it. 1-1. Solary, they've stepped up the pace. They're definitely matching Vitality's pace from the first 2 games, which just proved to be too much for them. It's something we knew that they could do. They've shown us this against Moist to keep an upper bracket match close, but look at Redosin just off target, but the double K-Dop follows up quickly. Solary, once again, standing strong in the way of it.
Oh, I just said because the 50-50 was going against Vitality, but that one almost backfired completely. That'd be the least Solary way of conceding ever. A 50-50 from the opposite half going all the way into your own goal. Not quite to be there for Vitality, but hope for them in that regard as Redosin tries to edge well again out of defense, gets it past though and over him. Oli is there, but he's closed down so quickly by Alpha. They get one more touch to knock this one into the path of K-Dop or Redosin, who are waiting. Not just yet. Redosin now into the center. And Oli's going to boom it away. And Orb, News Orb. Have you got some interesting, spicy results for us, my friend?
That I do. News Orb is reporting Dignitas 3... Yeah, sorry. Dignitas sweeping 3-0 against 0-0 Nation. Once again, sweep for Dignitas.
Thank you, Newsorb. That's Dignitas playing well again. I mean, they were 4-0'd by Vitality in midweek. Lost out on $600 from Rizzo. So not ideal by their
0-3 Nation rebrand once again.
Yes.
An opportunity for them. It's happened a few times this season, but they've not gone for it yet.
Yeah, they sort of asked for it with that name, didn't they? It's going to happen.
They did. Although it could go the other way as well, 3-0 Nation, but not if they keep losing.
Yeah, not at the moment. Oh, lovely pass there towards Alpha. Alpha tries to get it into that bottom corner. Almost there. And a good pass again from K-Dop. He is finding his teammates so well.
Yeah, K-Dop continues to impress here. And Vitality continue to impress. Huge clear coming out from the Dop. Red Ocean looking for an impossible angle. Double off the side wall. Corner wall, I should say. The confidence continues to ooze from Vitality. I'm loving it because this is something we've not seen for a long, long time. Solary can't have been expecting this today. Certainly not in RLCS. Maybe if they showed up for a scrim and Vitality are playing with confidence like this, it wouldn't be too unusual. But Vitality have really done such a great job to turn, well, I'm not going to say their season around, but to go, let's say, a completely different direction from the rest of their season.
Credit has to be given, though, to Solary, who have managed to withstand this barrage from Vitality and play themselves into the game and try and make it a game that suits their shape more, where these 50-50s are starting to look so dangerous against Vitality. They're getting control of the ball in the orange half more and more. Look at this, clean touches now for Oli. Vitality being penned back just at the beginning, but that demo is not going to do too much damage to Vitality, but for a second like it would, and they can play their way forward with Radosin over the top of Oli. Wants to get the 50 second dance. There he goes all the way, Radosin!
1v3. Radosin pops it over Oli. Flip resets it over the top of Tho and gives Mike Boy an unstoppable shot. Unbelievable. It is not a one-man team today. Vitality 54. Not even needing to show up. It is Radosin who absolutely destroys Solary.
Wow, a goal worthy of gracing any series, of winning any series there from Radosin. They've still got an extra minute to hold off or even double up their lead. That's what they're trying to do, this new version of Vitality. They keep on pushing. Tho, a couple of touches, but again, only as far as Radosin. He shoots again, only in the way of Mike Boy. They have to keep their communications up so as not to get in each other's way. And I've just seen a pause has been requested from Solary. Not sure why, but just to add a little bit more drama to the proceedings, they're going to have to be an agonizing wait before the last 50 seconds is played out.
There's a lot going on. There is a lot going on. That was a beautiful play. I mean, if you're going to step up and make a solo 1v3 play like that, why not make it when it matters the absolute most? We thinking of a game 5 here? Is that what we're thinking?
Oh, nah, surely not. Not after a goal like that from Radosin. That has to be the winner.
You think it's too demoralizing or uplifting, depending on what team you're on?
It's just scripted. I mean, given the day they've had so far, for some reason you could just see it, or maybe it's just me. But I feel like this Vitality that we saw in game 1, there was a snap about them. There was a confidence about them that we've not seen for a long time. They were just going for this, no hesitation at all. And it wasn't like they were pushing themselves to a pace that they're not used to. Because sometimes when teams decide to play with no hesitation and try and really up the tempo, it causes misplays to happen and it causes missed touches or complete whiffs to happen because when you push yourself to the limit like that, mechanics can be a problem. But that's not something we've seen from Vitality. They seem to have upped the tempo, but kept I'd say even up the consistency as well, which is so rare to see. And based on that and the fact that Radosin's completely popped off, I mean, it's scripted, isn't it? This could be the return of the great Vitality.
It's all over the pitch as well. It's not just an attack where they're making these passes in defense, where traditionally, in the last year or so, Vitality have, on so many occasions, just horrifically gotten each other's way. You're thinking, why have two players gone for that same ball? It makes no sense at all. Today, that's not happening, right? So when the ball is falling to one of them in defense, they're picking the perfect pass. So all over the playing area, the decision-making is solid, and it's making it really tough for Solary to wedge themselves into that conversation.
Yeah, we're hearing here, player has to restart the game, so it's got to be about another minute. Score will not change in the match.
It would be horrible to take away that goal. I would cry.
It would be. It would be. It would be unfair, to say the least. Just to update you guys on some other results, obviously, we updated the two sweeps we have so far. K-Corp, Dignitas, those have swept. We had Moist Esports, who's looking, let's see what it stands right now, 2-0 in their game 5. So Moist Esports waking up the reverse sweep. I don't want to say imminent because once you call it, it's not going to happen.
You never know.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? We had Liquid. Yeah, Liquid has just won 3-1 over EG. Navi BDS tied up 2-2, and they're already in game 5, currently 1-0 to BDS. Semper Luminosity also tied up. It says 4-1 to Semper. And Endpoint Guild 2-2. So once again,
actually reverse sweeping. Guild were 2-0 down in that series against Endpoint. Now they're trying to reverse sweep as well. So Moist and Guild both on that same warpath to avoid that lower bracket. I was expecting close matches out of Guild, but to see if they could do it in the clutch is remaining to be seen.
Yeah, well, only time will tell, all right, who's going to make or break, all right? This is, once again, only round 1. We do want to push the team streams, okay? All these other matchups that I try to report you guys on, you can actually watch them live. Check out Twitch. Obviously, go there. Check out the directories. Look out for your favorite team. Join them and check them out.
So, not long left for Solary to bring themselves back into this one and maybe force a game 5 over here as well. Actually, I take it back. There might be quite a while before they have to do that because there's going to be another pause. I was really spending that whole time speaking when I was thinking, right, what am I going to say when we come back in to really hype things up for the last 50 seconds? Needn't have bothered.
Yep.
Yeah, producer was like, speed it up, Orb, speed it up. And then like...
Orb knew, producer. Orb knew.
I knew. Yeah, who knows? I mean, we want to make sure that the players have everything going for them. Obviously, this is a very important matchup and a very, very important match. I know it's annoying when there's breaks and there's timeouts and whatever else. But think of the players, right? Very, very tense moment, a lot on the line. So let's just wait and see. Okay, that means we get to hang out more. All right,
we do.
That means we get to hang out more.
Let's talk results.
How have you guys enjoyed? Have you guys enjoyed the cast so far? Right? How do you rate the matchup so far?
Phenomenal. I mean, this is the vitality we've been waiting for. It really is. But it's only round 1. Whether they can keep this up is still a really big question. I mean, the biggest question, because having one good series doesn't cut it these days. You can't, especially in EU, have one great series and then one bad series. You need to have a high floor. So even if their next series isn't as good as this one, we don't see another 1v3 outplay from Redosin, they still need to have a high floor of skill. They need to have a good overall level of performance to make a deep run in the tournament.
All right, so we're going to check out some of the other games while we wait for ours to begin. Once again, this is from one of the many team streams that we've been mentioning many times. BDS versus Navi 2-2. We're down to the last minute. This would be a big upset, Navi beating BDS, right, guys?
Yeah, it'd be a massive upset. It's pretty much our lowest rated team, probably Navi.
I think Aokiri maybe, but yeah, Navi are second lowest, I believe.
And against BDS, where, everybody is second lowest compared to Team BDS.
Yeah.
But Team BDS have that fight. They're not incapable of losing a couple of games in a series and then stepping up. Traditionally, they have got better and better as any series has gone on. So even if they start slow in game 1 or 2, suddenly they'll go at 400 miles per hour and be unbeatable. But looking at the result and looking at the amount of challenges going and a chance for Tigra as well, it's not looking like that's what's happened here with Team BDS. This seems like a grind throughout. But you got Seiko. You got Seiko as a cheat code.
Reminiscent, as soon as you spotted it with Seiko lurking upfield, you already knew it was going to happen here. Luis is a great solo duelist, but you're not going to win that duel.
I mean, guys, how dangerous is BDS with Seiko? How big of a switch up was this adding Seiko to the team?
The biggest number you can think of, Orb?
1 gajillion.
Then that's the percentage of goodness that Team BDS are with Seiko. They are 1 gajillion goods. It cannot be overstated how good this team are. I mean, they're already a brilliant team with Mark by 8. Mark by 8, a fantastic finisher. He has the chaos factor, unafraid to half rotate in any given situation. Now they have Seiko. They're even better, right? Not only are they coming in French, so things are going to be faster to communicate as opposed to speaking in English because Mark by 8 is Spanish. He's also better mechanically. Cooler. And it sounds cooler as well.
It sounds cooler, which is an important factor to think about.
Bon.
Is that French?
I think it's French.
Yeah. I think it checks out. I don't speak any French myself, but it sounds about right. I don't know.
Yeah.
What a series
Well,
here.
somebody back me
Endpoint
up
versus
here.
Guild Esports. Endpoint trying to avoid a classic reverse sweep against themselves, and I can say that, having done this very Endpoint broadcast myself for way too long. Also, them against Guild Esports back in the RLCS X days, it seemed like every week they were playing each other in some event. So it's good to see the return of their particular El Clasico.
Still a fight though to go. I mean, 5-goal game. This isn't a 1-0, so Guild have been creating chances. This is the new look Guild with their double Spanish punch, CRR Dorito, 2 players who have had success together in the past, and now they're back on the field repping a different organization. Still, of course, with Devo, the one remaining player who started off the season with Guild. Final few seconds, though, can Guild get that equalizer? We're going to have to... Well, they're going to need to do something special here, because Endpoint look like they've got a good defensive formation. Oh, sorry, it's actually 52 seconds left. I can't read properly here, but okay, no. Looks like it was just an overlay.
The UI changed.
The overlay went weird.
I was like looking at this very, very small, but I don't know why I made my spectator box so small. I was like, I'm thinking double guessing, how did I see 10 seconds? It's clearly 52. Wait a minute, it's also not moving. Okay, I got baited. Good job, production. You got me.
Well, I mean, Navi going to game 5 against BDS. I mean, that warms my heart, because I don't know, Cole, if you remember, I don't know what player was on Navi, but you remember the internet issues? Like, once it came to game time, they had internet issues throughout the entire region. It like broke my heart.
So Virtuoso had been dropped by Endpoint, finally made his way back into the RLCS via Navi, and on the day he was going to play, his internet just went, nah.
The disaster.
Nah. Yeah, that was a sad moment. But there are good moments in Rocket League as well. And Vitality are yet again, take 3 actually, 52 seconds away from getting a very good moment for themselves. That was a poor touch though. It's going to let Solary straight in. Alpha at the far post. It's going to be scary for them to try and hold out here.
Yeah, they have to come out of the gate like they did earlier. They've had a bit of a pause there as we started out Mike Boy's connection, or Mike Boy started out his own connection, I should say, but now they've got a bit of space. K-Dot running onto the ball, but it's Oli who's going to get there first. Radosin couldn't beat him to it, because it was already moving that direction. Now double commit from Vitality, and that is the sort of mistake that we're used to seeing from them this season. This time they haven't been immediately punished for it, but they've got to communicate as organized as possible for these last 15 seconds.
I can see the possession, and Solary trying to make the most of that as Oli to the side. He wants to get the flip reset. I don't think he quite has. So all he can get is a 50-50, but where's the defending? Radosin taking his time. Pal goes for the ball. Kano, it's chaos, it's pandemonium, surely. There's going to be a finish. My boy, even at the end, was coming straight in. My goodness, Vitality, why do you do that to yourselves and us? It just kept getting scarier. The Vitality have won the series. The sprint at the end of it, it's 3-1.
And I'm going to be honest, so that looked like the Vitality that we've become used to seeing, where it's just everybody's flopping around in the air, everybody's pre-jumping at the same time, hoping that the ball hits them, and this time it did. So I think they deserved this series, really, with how they played in the previous 3 games, but that was not the clean ending that they were hoping for, and definitely not how they're going to want to continue playing for the rest of this event.
Johnny was doing French comms earlier with the I wonder how many of those there were right there. It's like Phew.
I feel like the last 5 seconds, that felt like 30 seconds. That was very slow down, slow-mo, players with no boost jumping. Who's going to be able to get it? I don't know. A scary, exciting, intense ending to a already very intense series. Listen, we have to take a break, pay some bills around here, so please, get some drinks, get some snacks, get ready, all right? We got round 2 coming up right after this. Please, stick around. All right, welcome back. The bills have been paid. Okay, hopefully you got your snacks and your drinks ready because we got round 2 coming right up. Let's jump straight into the bracket, see some of the results. I was trying to relay as much as I could, all right? But there's a lot of numbers, there's a lot of different teams. Here you get a nice set little overview of who made it into the upper quarterfinals and who went into lower round 1. Now, Cole, looking at these results, let's talk about the Moist series, right? They started off 0-2. They were able to reverse sweep. Is this them being kind of a little bit, I don't know, held back? What is causing them to go into a game 5 here?
Well, that's a really good question. I mean, Rise tweeted saying that there's something wrong with them at the moment and they need to figure it out for the next series because what they're doing isn't quite good enough, which shows their incredibly high standards after just having a reverse sweep against a decent team. That's a Johnny-approved team as well in Aogiri.
Solid.
We heard, obviously, we were watching the series we were just watching, Vitality, but apparently there was a 0-second equalizer from Rise. And then Vatira scored an overtime winner 12 seconds into it. So even getting the reverse sweep was not simple. So credit to Aogiri for fighting all the way through, but also well done, Moist, making it there. What's wrong with them? Was that the question? What could be wrong with them is just maybe the pressure of representing Moist Esports and having however many thousands of people tuning in just to watch them every single week eventually is going to get to them. It's also really hard to keep winning. Winning once, anyone can do it on any given day, but continuously being the best team on the pitch, it gets exhausting. It is tough. It is not easy. So I think that what Moist Esports are going to quickly learn is that the wins that they've been getting so easily recently, they're going to stop being easy. Every single victory is going to have to be a scrap from this point forward for them.
I mean, Rizzo is hosting the watch party for Moist, and I was in the chat kind of lurking a little bit, trying to see the vibe. And after, they lost the first game, it was kind of like, oh, man, everybody needs a warm-up game. They lost the second game 4-0, and chat started, obviously, as chat is, but sure, the general consensus was like, what is happening here? Are we, about to throw this? I don't think a lot of people kind of looked at this going into game 5, but Moist able to snag it up in the end, all right? And they're going to face off against Vitality. Now, Johnny, K-Corp sweeping Misfits. Is that something that you would have seen happen? Is this, I don't know. I tuned into Jorby's stream a little bit. He seemed a little down. He was hyped, but, a little down.
I didn't see this one because Misfits have gone into every third regional of every split so far on the money for qualifying for LAN. And then it's always the third regional where they have the early exit and they don't make it. And Karmine Corp overall are ahead of Misfits in points. But I thought for this regional specifically, especially given how well Misfits were playing in the last one, I thought they would just have the edge in that matchup. I did expect to be closer, 3-2 probably for Misfits. But it's gone 3-0 for Karmine Corp. So that's a really, really important thing to note. Karmine Corp haven't really been that team in the prime position for qualifying for a LAN going into the last regional of any split so far. Now they could be. If they can make a deep run in this tournament and Misfits exit the lower bracket early, suddenly KC are in that top 5 and it's in their own control for the first time ever. So props to them. New signing, they brought on Nolly as a new signing and it seems to be working really well for them.
Can I just say as well that I made a prediction on broadcast?
You did,
yeah. You did. Saying that Karmine Corp would make Worlds. I think it was rated about 2.5.
Listen, Cole, you also said it like 4 times before we went live. He's like, K-Corp's got to do it.
Listen, I did say they're going to do it. I fully believe. And them winning that one, and Evil Geniuses, one of those teams currently in that top 6 that Karmine need to not do well, lost to Team Liquid. It's all happening, all right? So the 25% of you that agreed with me on average, we got this, all right? No, the 20%, yeah, that's one.
Well, listen, we got round 2 coming up, okay? We got all the team streams going on. I'm going to mention it. I'm not done mentioning the team streams, okay? There's a lot of those going on, and there will be more call-outs for that. But here on the main broadcast, we are going to check out Dignitas versus Team Liquid. Dignitas coming off with that sweep. Maybe they're feeling hot already, all right? Johnny Boy, what do you think?
This is a rematch from regional number 1 as well. So very interesting matchup. Liquid had Dignitas number in regional number 1. And they're just coming off the exact same bracket as they had in regional 1, by the way. They beat EG both regionals now. Can they beat Dignitas in both regionals? This time it's in the upper bracket instead of the lower bracket where the two met in the last time around. I'm going to be honest though, I think personally the Dignitas are going to regain and they're going to have the edge today. It's upper bracket, so Dignitas not on that last life yet. A little bit less pressure for the team who are expected to succeed. course, Team Liquid playing with a little bit more freedom. They're just having as much fun as they can with the rest of the season, with no hope really of making Worlds. I suppose, there's really outside chance, but they're just trying to, learn as a team. I think the youngest team on average in the entire event. So yeah, they're just super mechanical and really, really fun to watch. But can they beat Dignitas twice in a row?
And listen, I love when you say like they're really, really young team. I feel like every team in Rocket League, I feel very old. I am 30 plus. So I feel very old when you look at some of the players, some of the teams. It's fantastic how young this sport is.
I haven't been the young one on desk in about 5 years. So thank you so much,
how old are you, Cole?
I'm 28.
Child.
28. Well, I'm the oldest one here. All right, anyways, you got the fan predictions going on, chat. Hashtag it up. Let's see some quick results here from you guys. Who do you think will get this? Cole, while we wait for the results to come in, is there any specific player you want to see step up in this match, please?
Oski, again, it seemed like last time these two played, Dignitas were going to get a reverse sweep. Suddenly, Oski gets a disgusting double flip reset, and that just killed the hopes of Dignitas. So I'm keeping a close eye on him to see if he can replicate those mechanical masterpieces. Well, let's find out. Let's find out right now, Johnny. Game 1 begins. Team Liquid versus Dignitas. There's a little bit of recent history between these two teams, as I was just alluding to. Dignitas, though, surely they do better than they did last time out.
Well, to do better than they did last time, they need to beat teams like Team Liquid, because you've got BDS up at the top of the pile right now. You've got Moist right behind them. Teams that look so tough to beat when you meet them late in an event like this. So you need to get to that event in the upper bracket. Have as many cracks as you can at them. And Team Liquid are a dangerous team. They can beat anyone on their day. This team, the potential ability is completely out of this world. And Dignitas have to play at their usual level to have a chance here.
Clean touch for a tower, and it's a nice pass there for Oski, showing some good composure, the youngster, the youngest team on average in this entire tournament, but certainly not overawed by the situation. But when you're up against Jorias, you just know that you can't lose concentration, for a split second, because this is a man that is capable of doing anything on a Rocket League pitch, especially when passes are that good towards him. He gets the redirect, it's just over the top of the crossbar. Good early signs there for Dignitas, but a huge clearance from Oski. He's going to follow it up and just ask the question of Scrub Killer.
Yeah, a bit of a high pass there towards Jarius. He needed to use the underside of his car to get that on target, which of course takes power off the shot generally. But good ideas from Dignitas. They're finding space. They're trying to pass the ball off to each other as well. Oski 50-50 it straight through one. Jack going to try and run onto the 50-50 now that goes the other way. End-to-end stuff here. Lots of space in the midfield for both teams.
A little bit of a mechanical misplay there from Acronic. Wanted to get his car behind the ball, but just sort of scraped it upwards, and that's what's let Dignitas in for this attack. And if my memory serves, the last time these two played, the 2 games that Liquid won at the beginning, Dignitas didn't look in it at all. Liquid outclassed them. Dignitas really looked poor. And in midweek in Rizzo scrims again, they lost 4-0 as well to Vitality, who we saw playing so well earlier. So that form seems to have continued for at least one of the teams. Well, look for Dignitas too. They have got that 3-0 victory earlier on, which would be lovely for them. A team that is in desperate need of wins. A Scrub Killer, is that a shot or a pass? In the end, it wasn't really either. And a Acronic can go away. But a team that have just brought in a coach, Johnny.
Yeah, they've got that mediator now to try and stabilize the inconsistencies that Dignitas have been having in the past 2 events, a major and the most recent regional combined. That's a lovely infield pass now from Scrub. And it's going to be a somewhat free shot there, but Jorius hits the post. You didn't have the integral to aim at there, but you've got to hit the target. You got to test the keeper from that range.
Oski did keep his nerve, though. He didn't try and dive into that ball too quickly. Comfortably watched it hit the post. But yeah, really should have asked a question at least of the goalkeeper. Oski comes in from the side as well. He's trying to follow it away, but Jorias booms it. It's not the highest quality start to this game, I'd say, so far. A lot of boomable, a few missed touches and missed passes. Will either team be able to break the deadlock? And if they do, will it be off the back of a mistake? Or will we see something beautiful that we know these players are capable of?
I do like that Dignitas are prioritizing those passes, though. It's clear that the communication's on point for now, and that they are attempting to boom the ball at each other. That's going to be a 1-goal lead. Surely Oski outplays the Dignitas defense, and he didn't need a boomer to do that one. It was all about the angle. Scrub Killer thought he could get onto the end of the ball that he just sent into the edge of the box, but hit it a bit too hard. Oski punishes him for it.
It's like he's got the ball on a string, and as soon as Dignitas try and kick it away, he just yanks it back, and they fall over themselves. Looking a little bit silly. Oski seems to be the Dignitas killer at the moment, and Liquid do as well, but Scrub Killer might be able to get a quick return at Tau. in there nice and nipply from the kickoff, but it's such a good start there from Dignitas from that kickoff, and apparently Jack eventually makes it count.
Dignitas, such a known threat with their solo plays. That is what gives the space for the passing plays to be available. Everybody's thinking about the shot there. Everybody's thinking about Jorius maybe air dribbling, but no, he just chips it in field. Perfectly done for Appjack. And that focus on passes has to continue now for Dig. It's been, I think, their biggest strength in the matchup so far. Not just in the final third, but also moving the ball out of defense. Got to keep it up.
Dignitas, a team who, after Scrub Killer was brought in and they initially answered those questions, as that one just goes wide, they had so much hype about them. People really believed that this team would be maybe top 2 EU, maybe even taking down then BDS. And for a while, it hasn't really happened for them. Hopefully, this is the beginning of it just starting to turn around. We need to see this team living up to its potential because they're so beautiful to watch. The way they mix up their approach, so they shoot, they pass, so they go solo. It's beautiful. But Liquid, again, they are showing Dignitas no respect, and they look just as good as them.
Oh, look at this.
Oh! Wow.
Atto! You could see that the ball was going towards him, but he needed to really contort his car excellently to get that on target. Leaning back, dodging as well to dodge into that ball at that range. Keep it under control, but keep it on target. Absolute perfection from Atto. And not a moment too late, Scrub Killer was on him. But it's Team Liquid back in front in the last minute.
And so it's also going to be apparently Jack's the ball there as well. The speed that they're showing, so good. As Oski goes high, just taking time off it. Going to flip reset this one over Scrub Killer. Almost. Joris is coming in there quickly. Something Dignitas are chasing the game, but there's a miss there from Atho after so much good play down the other end. A mistaken defense from him.
Yeah, he's just a bit too far off his line there. Tries for the difficult backboard collection. And it doesn't work out. You know, you did have options there to try and just ping the ball off the backboard and hope that it goes far enough away that he could recover before Dignitas' shot comes through. But he tried to control the situation. It's a bit more of a precise movement. He didn't get it right this time.
Dignitas have their equalizer, and now Scrub can go up and try and just get the 50-50 game running for Dignitas. Liquid have penned back somewhat, but Acronic is able to get an all-important touchdown just to get the ball down the other side. Here's Oski. Such as close down there. Earlier on, he got that first goal for Liquid, and it was a thing of beauty, his first touch. Acronic's attempt this time, going over the top of Dignitas yet again. Jory is coming in from the side. Can clear that one, but look how quickly Liquid pressure as well. All three of them forwards. Oski maybe with one more chance, but it's just towards Joris. And this maybe will be an opportunity for a counter-attack for Dignitas. Scrub Killer's pass is good. Joris catches it. Apparently, Jack with a chance to end it at 0 seconds. Dignitas take game 1.
Passing for Dignitas has been the key, and you're not going to see a more nonchalant pass today than Jory is just bopping the ball up in the air for Jack to send into the top corner. Effortless and brilliant from Dig. They had to come back twice in this game, but they didn't need to go to overtime to win it.
Listen, you love to see some team sports. You know, yeah, it's nice with solo plays that are very advanced and mechanical, but also team sports. Fun with the boys. You know what I mean? Love to say it. All right. If there's any way to introduce the upper quarterfinals in a big way, it's going to be a 0-second goal. Why not? All right. So obviously, Dignitas winning that game. We have 1-1 versus BDS and Semper Endpoint winning versus K-Corp 3-0. So maybe K-Corp losing a little bit of steam. Moist Esports and Vitality currently tied up 2-2 with 32 seconds to go. Vitality was in the lead there for a bit. So it was looking like they might be able to snag up game number 1, but now we shall wait and see. Some very tense 30 seconds still to go.
I wouldn't be too surprised if Vitality take that one against Moist Esports. I mean, the way they played against Solary for about
they're looking good
of that game, what we've heard and seen from Moist, maybe just a little bit of a wobble from Moist Esports right here. So this is a really good opportunity for Vitality to stay in the upper bracket.
Yeah, BDS just won 2-1 versus Semper in their game 1.
Okay, so Semper continuing to be that team that are surprising us. Nobody really talking about them with that new acquisition of Exotic too much because there were so many more big name signings. But Semper proven to be very consistent in 2 events in a row now. I think they've got ways to go before they can tackle a team like BDS.
Yeah, it is just consistency for Semper right now. I don't think we'll see them in a top 3, top 4 position, but certainly they'll make a few top 8s, I think, at the very least. We'll keep our attention right here. A reminder, if you do want to watch any of the series going on right now, you can do so on the team broadcast. Just head to their place on Twitch. And that was a mistake.
Oh dear, Jarius looked like he had a bit more time to send that one away from the goal. He's pre-jumped for some reason, and I honestly don't think that was the play. I really don't. He had a big, I think, range to react there. And I think if he just stayed on the ground, he would have had a much, much better chance of covering the incoming shot. But he's for some reason decided to pre-jump and made look a bit silly with a shot that would have been easily stopped, going right past him.
Yeah, but we know that he can make up for it, and he's desperate to get this ball now from Scrub Killer. There was a bit of a dodge to avoid the incoming demo as well from Team Liquid. Liquid love going for these bumps and demos when they are in defense, just to try and shake their opponent's rhythm. But it's Jarius that's taking down a Chronic now as well, taking out some of that frustration after that early error in defense. As Oski races Jarius. Jarius getting involved in everything now. Do you get the impression as well that he's just desperate to fix that mistake as soon as possible?
He always will be, and that's something that is so difficult to ignore as a player, even when you've got as much experience as Jarius does. You make a big mistake, and like you mentioned, you want to fix it by doing something that's so impressive that everybody will forget about the mistake earlier. But it really doesn't matter. A goal's a goal. You've conceded, and how you come back is also irrelevant, whether it's a world beater goal or just a tap in. So Dignitas have to just continue passing the ball in the final third. They're slamming clears into the backboard regularly, I think, to try and back up Team Liquid and create space in that midfield, which they're then using to pass the ball through. So their strategy is definitely working. But yeah, defense definitely not unshakable by any stretch of the imagination.
They do have midfield boost control right now though, which means that Liquid's attack is pretty staggered. So close to being able to just charge this ball down and put it into the center, but not quite happening for them just yet, at least. But that 50-50 might change things for a second now. Instead, it's fallen to Jarius, who just shoots, wondering if Oski will make the same mistake he did. But Oski stayed grounded for as long as he possibly could. Just sent the ball out wide, then went for it himself. Good clear from Scrub. Look at him chain dash. Look at him go. We see you, Scrub. We know that you can do that. It's worked out well as well. I was going to try and take out Oski. The toe won that ball all by himself. And it's just a bit of passive play at the moment for both these teams.
Yeah, Team Liquid are just trying to play a solid defensive line here, and with the kind of reads these guys have over the backboard, it makes sense. Atto messed one up in the last game, but usually these guys are nailing every single read, whether it's off their own back wall, their own back corner wall, side walls. They're quick up to these balls, and that's something that Dignitas have identified. They're not trying to beat Team Liquid by beating them to reads, as Team Liquid are just way too good at that. There's just over 2 minutes left. They still have that 1-goal lead. This is going to be a chance now for Dignitas to advance down the center. Jarius meets the brick wall that is a Chronic, and backboard continues to be well defended. Look out for that infield later in the game from Dig.
Dignitas is certainly having more control right now, especially with apparently Jack getting a huge dunk there, making it so that Liquid can't clear their lines. That one's going to the backboard. Scrub Killer couldn't beat Atto to the ball. Atto's going to try and go again on apparently Jack, who's got no boost. He didn't manage to dodge into it either, because I think it was Atto stole it. Now Oski's getting this touch here, so Dignitas falling for these Liquid extra touches once or twice, sending them backwards. And Liquid doing a really good job of surviving when Dignitas come forward and taking their time, waiting for their moment to build some pressure of their own. A quick shot there, Jarius. And was it apparently Jack getting each other's way? And Oski cleans up.
Yeah, they wanted to try and pinch this one clear, or just, get some kind of distance on it, but Jarius is not on the same page, hits it into the attacking player instead of into Jack to pinch that ball away from the danger. But full credit to Team Liquid. They're cutting off those defensive passes from Dignitas exceptionally well. Dig trying to drop the ball down into the center and get the free clear, and not happen in Team Liquid, or close the door on that strategy.
Scrub Killer needs to be a Chronic, does. Oski just waits for the ball and then tips it slightly past Jarius. And now Liquid can come forward again with Oski. He's got almost 100 boost and he can use it well. A toe's coming in. Jarius there on the backboard himself. Dignitas is trying to hold off for a second. Don't want to turn this into 3. A Chronic is coming in now. So again, Liquid changing their approach on attack. The infield passes seem the key to defeating both of these teams right now. But just about surviving Dignitas, only 2 goals down.
This is such an impressive stand as we expect to see from Team Liquid.
Who's going to win that?
Brilliant mechanically, and a team like Dignitas have ran through so many other teams in Europe this season by just beating them to the ball, just hitting the ball harder than them, and just being better at recovering. But you don't get that with Team Liquid. These guys are all monsters in the mechanical aspect of the game, but that's not all they've got. Look how well organized they are, and look how much more composed they look compared to their earlier adventures into RLCS together, where it was full chaos. And anybody who's watched Team Liquid team streams will be the first to tell you they don't like to win series easily. They don't like to win games easily, but this has been a fairly easy win for them. Not many scares. But that's going to be, I think, one of them. Atto having to quickly dart back, still not dealt with the danger, but he's really done well there. Stays goal side. Dignitas are going to get one more chance, and that'll be denied as well. And we'll have a 1-1 series.
Yeah, they are looking like they're stepping up, aren't they, Team Liquid? If Joreuz scores here or not, he is going to make it a 0-second goal. But, I mean, the game was already Team Liquid's, and I think on the eye test as well, they have been the better performers in this one. What impressed me about them is that no matter how many shots Dignitas have, no matter how many times they'll fake you, Team Liquid don't seem like they're scared of Dignitas. They're not over giving them respect, and they're not rushing their clearances or anything like that. So it's more maturity from Team Liquid than maybe we'd expect to see Orb at this point in their careers.
Close games all around. Yeah, we've had some interesting results as well. We had Vitality obviously snagging up game 1 from Moist Esports, and that went to, I believe, almost close to a 2-minute overtime. We currently, was it BDS? No. K-Corp just won in that was also I think about a 2-minute overtime versus Endpoint. So it's going the distance, to say the least. The games are going the distance. Endpoint, Karma, and Corp, they're tied up 1-1. 3-1 currently, BDS versus Semper in their game 2. And it's 4-1, so it's going to be 2-0 here in about 12 seconds more of game time. I mean, Moist Esports versus Vitality. Is Moist Esports going to come back, or is this Vitality kind of putting their foot down?
It's tough. I don't know. We saw Vitality on the main stream just moments ago. They look great today. Dare I say they look, I think, the best they've looked all season. And that is a scary fact for a Moist team who needed a 0-second equalizer in Game 5 against bottom seed Aogiri. Although, you know, credit to Aogiri for putting up such a fight against Moist. I do rate that team, and I think anyone who watched the Moist stream probably got some, great goals to report from Aogiri in that first round. But Moist have really got to perform if they're going to beat Vitality in the way that Vitality played today.
So many exciting matchups going on at the same time. I just love day 1 and day 1 streams. They are brilliant, and I will never stop reminding people, as Orb said the same himself, that you can go and watch those games for yourself in their entirety if you only want to see one of them. But we're going to stick right here between Dignitas and Team Liquid and see if Dignitas can just make up for the fact that Team Liquid dumped them out of the event a couple of weeks ago. That double flip reset from Oski will still be haunting the nightmares of Dignitas, but they are getting themselves in the way from some early Team Liquid pressure. Maybe a counter-attack as Joreuz tries to flick it into the center. Now a Chronic's turn. So much space and so many clean touches for all of these players should make this a dangerous game.
I'm so impressed with the adjustment Team Liquid have made to close the door on these little infield passes that Dignitas were making in the first game, and they're still trying to make more occasionally in this in the second and third games of the series. Dignitas mixed it up with direct shots, big backboard clears, lobbing touches down the middle, and that's all to try and create midfield space to pass the ball through. Chronic now actually failing to make contact on the exact same strategy being attempted by Team Liquid there. A young team, mechanical team, Team Liquid, but a team who are adapting, a team who are learning and improving. That's a terrifying fact for anyone who opposes them.
Oh, Scrub Killer, he couldn't quite get his finish away. It seemed that the ball going against his car just sort of swallowed all that pace, but apparently Jack doesn't make the same mistake. A huge double tap, and it's 1-0.
He's up quick for that one. Jack just dusts Atto, and he knew exactly what he needed to do. Straight to the backboard, and even a bar down finish as well. Perfection from Jack. Great start for Dignitas.
It doesn't get any better than that for apparently Jack, and Dignitas getting the goals that they need just to try and keep this one calmer than what we happened and what we saw in the last time these two played against each other. Apparently Jack, so much experience already at his young age, tries to spoon that one towards Joreuz, but the clearance is equally solid. Atto can't quite get it, but a Chronic will come in now. Joreuz, I think, got bumped out the play, so he might be out of position just a little bit. Apparently Jack, he's starting to pull the strings for Dignitas. In my opinion, they look their best when apparently Jack is as involved as he possibly can be. The Scrub Killer can't quite turn that one home. But Dignitas have just gone up at least half a gear here.
Yeah, no big mistake. Of course, we started off the last game with Joreuz pre-jumping wildly and allowing an easy first goal for Team Liquid. Team Liquid have got the ability to create hard work goals as well. They don't need those freebies. And this is something that Dignitas have You've failed to do so far. They've conceded in both games that we've watched so far today. Not yet in this third one. Team Liquid, I've got threats coming out of every single player. Every player has a solid reset in their back pocket. Every player's got a perfect controlled air dribble. Every player knows how to hit double taps from ridiculous angles. And when you're going up against players who are that good at every aspect of offense, it's hard to cover everything.
It's whether they can string those talents together against a team of defense as good as Dignitas's. Oski's going to try and get something started. Chronic's in the center with 100 boost as well. Oski's going for a double flip reset. Just as a reminder to Dignitas of what happened last time they played, maybe. Is Atto. He tries to get was that a musty flick. Wow.
You cannot give this guy that much time on the ball, that close to your net. Appjack decides to back off towards the goal. Scrub Killer also unable to pressure the ball. Atto punishes them by slamming it into the top corner. The timing on that one was so difficult to read. The fact that he flew up a little bit before coming back down behind the ball disguised the shot brilliantly.
Scrub Killer, though, he's got a disguised shot of his own. Oh, but it's hit the post. So close to Dignitas getting their lead back straight away. Scrub Killer couldn't quite do it. Now, apparently, Jack, the same problem. He's just wide. Scrub Killer's over. Atto is going to beat Jarius to the ball here. Chronic can flick it along. He gets a flip reset as well. Wanted to get the second one, couldn't quite do it. That could have been really special. This game is so open. Jarius now tries to get involved in the battle of the mechanics. Morgan saving Scrub Killer with a snapshot. It's hard, it's powerful, but it's also closed down. Maybe we'll slow down for a second, but not yet. Apparently, Jack takes a quick touch, then past one, past another. Chronic gets tackled by Jarius, and surely now things are going to slow down. Goodness me, that was a frantic 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, still a low boost for Team Liquid, though. They're in a bit of trouble here. They need to just control the ball, buy some time to grab boost. Atto actually just ran to midfield to grab the 100 because their back corners are being contested so often. They've survived brilliantly there, just having to get bodies in the way of the ball, and the key was not to get faked. Dignitas going for multiple mind games, and Team Liquid didn't fall for those.
There's a pass there in the center towards a Chronic, who gets it back to Atto. A little pass just wide, but I think a Chronic had already decided the play wasn't quite going to happen and rotated back to get some more boost. Jarius with a musty flick of his own. Now apparently Jack's coming in. He gets a flip reset from the backboard. So many mechanics coming out. Beautiful top tier Rocket League. Atto there, bet by Jarius. All the way back down to the Liquid half. All of these clearances are getting so much power. This ball is going absolutely flying anytime somebody gets a clean touch. Oscar wants to go over the top of Jarius, but he can't do it. Liquid have survived the Dignitas onslaught and look just as likely to get this deciding goal.
Yeah, the boost looking a lot better now for Team Liquid. Dignitas are perfectly fine in that regard as well. Full rotation established for both teams and a real focus on solo plays now instead of utilizing those little ticky-tacky passes. We've seen one or two of them, but every player in the lobby now just going for big plays individually to try and get one, maybe two out plays and give their teammates a chance in an advantageous position. It looks like we are going to go to overtime game 3 to see who's going to take the edge in the series.
We were threatened overtime in game 1 and Dignitas got that 0-second goal. Nobody could get one on that occasion, so we are going to go to, I believe, the first in the series. Oski's going to get a decent touch there. He wants to put that one home. He can't quite do it, but a Chronic's coming in. Scrub Killer's touch only as far as Atto. Jarius wants to beat him, but gets bumped out the way. Thankfully for Dignitas, apparently Jack could finish that particular job. And he's still going forward as well. Almost closing down a Chronic, but a Chronic manages to escape. Atto keeps his touch going on a little bit stronger. And it's time for some boomable, I think, at the start of overtime, which is going to be the first player to really take close control and get one of those solo plays to have an end point.
It's just so tempting to go for that big clear off the back wall. With how high the defensive line is from Team Liquid now, they've just eliminated all that space in the midfield that they were showing earlier on to try and close down Dignitas passing angles, but that does leave them a little bit more vulnerable to the hard clear, which is what Dignitas continue to threaten at regular intervals, which is intelligent, I think, just to remind Team Liquid that you cannot just advance against us. You can't just come in and pitch tents in our box. We're going to clear the ball over your heads if you give us the space to do so.
Jarius has got way too much boost to be left all alone, so a Chronic quickly realizes that can't be and closes him, asking more quick challenges from Team Liquid. Not too many clean hits right now from Dignitas. Everything is being closed down by Liquid. They're doing really well to do so. Apparently, Jack wants to get a pass to Jarius. Jarius does win it cleanly for once. Oh, we should have scored it. That was completely open, but Jarius couldn't get the angle.
Yeah, great read by Jarius. He was the last man there, but he spotted the telegraph pass, and he's got another option here.
Oh.
But last second touch there from Team Liquid changed the trajectory of the ball again. Jorias can't react in time to send it on target.
Here he is again, wants to get so involved in the play, Jorias. He has a pass, he has a shot. But Chronic just sends that one as far as he can. Such a high line from Liquid that you mentioned earlier is making it really difficult just to keep control of this game right now, as Dignitas is starting to wrestle it for themselves. Scripple is waiting in the middle, hoping a pass will come his way, but it doesn't. He has to take control himself. So he's making it difficult for him as possible. He does manage to get the ball to apparently Jack. Dignitas are looking like they've got more and more boost in the tank every time they come forward. And with the mechanical plays that they have, it's getting pretty scary for Liquid.
Yeah, Jack tried to land a bump on the last man there, but he just barely missed it. Great dodge by Chronic.
Oh!
That's actually going to be the goal. Atto with a huge dunk out of nowhere. And that has completely stunned Dignitas Jorias, who did not realize Atto was going to get so quickly back to the ball and did not realize that that particular angle was covered in a massive way. 2-1 Liquid.
The high line taketh away and the high line giveth. Oh, that is a beautiful piece of tactical engineering paying off right there for Team Liquid.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, a heck of an overtime to say the least. I wanted to chime in actually with some news orb content, but I figured it was overtime. I would wait a little bit because we do have some big news. And that is that BDS has swept Semper Esports, which also means, if you paid attention to the point chart earlier, this means that BDS is now secured for Worlds.
Hey!
So, big step for them.
It was going to happen, yeah, eventually.
Yeah,
it was only a matter of when, but they've done it early, of course. BDS.
It's the 7G2 now, isn't it?
Maybe.
From EU
and Falcons as well, yeah.
I think actually there's a few more NA teams because the event completion over there. Let me just pull that up for you while Orb continues to give us all the news.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, maybe not that big of a surprise, but a notable entry to say the least. It's got to be great to see them at Worlds and seeing what they can do for EU. Now, Liquid, oh, never mind. That is the series that we just watched. Team Vitality, sorry. There's a lot of, I want to say there's a lot of results to keep track of, but really there's only 4 series right now. Vitality and Moist Esports, they're tied up 1-1 in their series. K-Corp is up 2-1 in the Endpoint series. And obviously BDS swept. So those are the results. BDS secured for the major. For Worlds, rather. Sorry. For the Worlds.
Congratulations,
likewise.
Take it away.
Yeah. Likewise, our FaZe and NRG, by the way, Cole, as well as B2, a couple. And I expect to, see more EU teams confirming their Worlds qualification very, very soon as well, because it's getting to that time of the season where there just aren't enough events left for other teams to even have the mathematical possibility of catching up, never mind the probability, which is even harder.
It's more difficult, but what it can do is take the pressure off the teams that know that they can't make it, such as Team Liquid, up against Dignitas, who need to keep finding wins if they are to make it to majors, maybe even make it to Worlds. Probably going to, but, one wrong turn of form, you can quickly find yourself tumbling down the overall points tallies. And Liquid seem like, to an extent, they've got Dignitas' number. Dignitas are showing signs of being scary as Scrubkiller almost connects with that Joria's pass. But Liquid's defense it's an optimistic defense. They don't sit back deep. It's not like they're clinging on for dear life. Every time they get a touch, even in their own half, it's trying to get an attack going. And that can backfire if they overdo it. But when it's working, it means that every moment can be a Liquid attack.
Yeah, we've got to try and, Dignitas have got to try and iron out. We're going to be watching to see if there's going to be any mistakes from Jorias in particular. He had that big mistake in game number 2 with the nonsensical pre-jump in last game, walking into the Atto dunk. He didn't need to hit the ball that way. Of course, it's a great play from Atto. Definitely a forced misplay, but a misplay nonetheless from Jorias, as he could have played that a safer angle. Team Liquid pile on the pressure now. 2 games in a row. And the opening goal in game 4, sorry, but the third game for them. They're looking to win on a straight run to that semi-final. They're really doing it today, Cole. Dignitas are in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, what I loved about that play as well is that all 3 Liquid players were so far forward. One mistouch, one beat to the ball, and you are 100% conceding there. But such is their confidence that that's not how they think, Team Liquid. They will always play on the front foot and try and take the attack to their opponents, even if their opponents are as good as Dignitas. A Chronic in front of Jorias. Just wants to get this ball, and does. Jorias floor pinches it away. Ato's touch is not perfect for once. And Oski versus Jorias is going to be an interesting race. Oski not only wins it, also gets a pinch as far out as halfway down the line. And now Liquid get to play the fun game, Johnny, which is just keep Dignitas away from your goal for as long as possible, and they will start to get frustrated.
Yeah, Team Liquid are definitely a frustrating team to play against. They've got the ball control to knock a ton of seconds off the clock every time that they get a hold of it. Atto today has been phenomenal. The speed of this guy's recoveries has surprised Dignitas more than once, and he has been rebounding brilliantly from his own blunder earlier on in the series that gave Dignitas an equalizer late in game number 1. No problem, as now he chain dashes into Dignitas corner. They're deep in Dignitas territory here, looking for a second goal.
Needs to be careful they don't overcommit and throw away anything silly. Atto is in the perfect position to keep this attack going, and he's got boost as well. He's dancing around the ball. Apparently Jack will be on the backboard and able to get that one, but Chronic is closing him down so quickly. Dignitas not able to dribble out of defense, not able to pass because there's a Liquid player there just waiting. Everything they're attempting is being sent straight back to them. Maybe it's bumps and demos that can get them out of this particular predicament. Apparently Jack seems to be thinking the same thing as he's going for all sorts of them, but still the dunks are falling in the way of Team Liquid. There could have been a chance there if Oscar was a little bit further forward. What they have done again is just kept Dignitas penned back when it looked like they were going to make a counter-attack.
Yeah, this is maybe an opportunity, though, for Dignitas. The commitments are really coming in very consistently for Team Liquid, but I think they are stretching themselves just a little bit thin here on some of these challenges. If Dignitas can just get one counter-attack going, that's all that they really need, but the confidence is just so visible from Team Liquid. These guys are just going at Dignitas as if they think they've got a mechanical advantage, which I might add, they may well do. Team Liquid at the moment are just so fast. Dignitas rarely made to look like the slower of the two teams. It's happening right now.
Joris has got a little bit of boost to play with, and he's got some time on the ball. He gets that dunk there. Is anybody arriving there for Dignitas? They were. Apparently Jack was. But Atto just stops him being on the pitch completely. Oski does the same to Joris.
Wow.
Chronic is just going to win the dunk. And Atto with the most nonchalant finish you will ever see.
Great call by Atto. You made it look like he was going to try and double tap this, but leans away from it at the last second, gives it to a Chronic, and Team Liquid deservedly take a 2-goal lead. They have completely dominated game number 4.
It was a goal of some swagger as well there from Atto, just stopping beside the ball, letting it bounce off him.
3-0.
Similar to Joris' pass in the first game, but Liquid, they're running away with it. Dignitas look bereft of ideas. Team Liquid, what a fun young team.
I mean, the Dignitas teams, they tried something there. They tried to back corner the kickoff and then get a passing play going immediately, but another massive dunk comes through. Scrub Killer getting destroyed in that mid-air 50-50, and Dignitas committing everybody to forward runs there, just expecting Scrub to have a free touch, and not while Team Liquid have something to say about it. 4-0. It is getting ugly now. Dignitas tried to get something going in the kickoff, and it resulted in a 3rd goal for them, but that happens sometimes. When you're trying to go in the hunt for a comeback, you end up conceding more. Wow. Dignitas are going to need to do it again. They had to play lower bracket round 2 in last event day 1, and that is what Team Liquid have done for Dignitas again. They've sent them there. I mean, Dignitas have got class, but they're not scoring 4 in 20 seconds.
No, I mean, they've also downed tools completely. Liquid have made them do so. Liquid are just toying with their opponents right now. They've been in the scene for a long time of Team Liquid. It's good for the org to have teams that are making it into, 2nd or 3rd days of RLCS events, even being in RLCS events. This is a team that didn't even qualify for a regional until Regional 1 of this split. Only in the last couple of weeks have they even been here. And now they are destroying Dignitas for the 2nd event in a row. Team Liquid are your winners.
So is this Team Liquid really stepping up, or is it Dignitas maybe falling a little bit behind? Maybe a combination of both.
Yeah.
It is really good for Team Liquid. It's going to be really interesting to see their way through the tournament moving forward. Now, to give you a little bit of updates on the results of the other matchups going on, Moist Esports is currently up 2-1 in the series, and it's 4-1 in their 4th game. So they could be wrapping this one up. Maybe Vitality finally hitting some wall that they couldn't get through. Who knows? All right. 120 still left on the clock. So things might change. K-Corp beating Endpoint. That is 3-1 in the series in total.
That's
Here
huge.
there we go.
That's so big. KC, man, are really on a run at the moment because there's other results going in their
always
favor
right.
as well. Yeah, apparently. Look,
They just needed a bit of faith, guys.
Look at
Somebody to
Carmicorp.
believe in them.
Carmicorp into the upper semis. That's a guaranteed top 6 for the second event in a row. Meanwhile, Misfits are in lower round 1. Dignitas are in lower round 2. We've also got EG in lower round 1. Endpoint in lower round 2. A lot of the competition for those major spots are in the lower bracket already, and it's Carmicorp who are still in the upper. So they suddenly look like one of the favorites to make the major. It's early days, yeah, just day 1. Well played on that day 1 for KC.
In the lower bracket, and also not doing well so far in this split in general. You mentioned Endpoint. I think that they finished 12th, 13th last regional out. You know, they got like 1 series win and that was it. Didn't make day 2, if I recall correctly, either. So not good from them either. Semper Esports already down to that lower bracket. And here, by the way, as I'm talking about the results, Team Vitality gave themselves a game just to make Moist Esports a little bit nervous for the last 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, looks like it could be still on the cards for Vitality, but they need a big clear, and it doesn't look like Moist are interested in giving anything to them. Well, there's the attempted big clear, but that's speculative at best, and Moist have got players back. They are going to get those last-second saves and confirm their upper semis. So still, BDS and Moist, the two most consistent teams in Europe. Last event's 3rd and 4th place finishers now, both in the lower bracket. Solary Vitality, of course, had that round 1 matchup where Solary got sent to the lower bracket. Now Vitality are down there as well.
All right, well, Moist Esports able to wrap that one up, and they are, once again, they are 100% win rate in their day 1 so far. Even though it's a little bit, maybe a shaky of a ride this time around, for, compared to Regional 1, but they have done it. Listen, we got to get ready, okay? We got some winners and some losers coming up, all right? We got the lower round number 1. Who is going to make it into tomorrow? That is the question that we're going to answer. Until then, get some drinks, get some snacks, get ready. We will return. Lower round 1 coming up right after this. Please stick around. All right, welcome back. The bills have been paid, and I have some new friends yet again. It is a pleasure seeing these lovely faces yet again. It has been a crazy day, to say the least. We have two, lower round one, lower round two series still to check out. But before we do that, we're going to check out the bracket. If you missed any of the results, it looks a little something like this.
Look at it fill up.
Look at it fill up. Honestly, the graphics people, they do amazing work, I gotta say. Easy to follow along. Double elimination setup, as always. You know, 2 losses and you're out. This is going to be a fight for survival in the regional number 2. Now, Gregan, I'm gonna start with you, okay? What is going to be the matchup that you're looking for? Probably the toughest matchup out of the lower round 1.
Yeah, I think we always know in Europe, those teams that make RLCS every now and again, like Guild this season, they're always a worry because they cannot make the event and avoid having to play against them from the closed qualifier. And then suddenly they come into main event and they pop off. And we saw that happen last split. And I wonder if they're going to do that again. So Misfits having to face them as their first lower round match is going to be tough for Misfits because they really do need these wins to try and stay in the running for Worlds.
All right, well, in our lower round 1, we are going to check out Luminosity versus Navi. All right, this is going to be our first matchup from lower round 1. And Shogun, we're going to start with you. In terms of your prediction for this one, who do you got?
Oh, wow. It's difficult, this one. This is certainly a matchup with a lot of players that have got things that they want to prove, maybe players that didn't really expect themselves to maybe be on these teams initially coming into this season. They've had to adjust and try and reprove that, hey, we're coming together. We're going to try and show off the results that we would have got. As for prediction, this is probably the least confident I will be in some time in a prediction, but I will go Luminosity on this one. I think they've just got a little bit more to them, and I'll take them here.
All right, chat. The prediction is going to come up for you guys as well. Feel free. Gregan, throwing it over to you. Who do you got for this one? You know, Navi was able to push BDS to that game 5. So is this, I don't know, Navi waking up a little bit, proving their worth, or was it a one-time fluke?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I looked at the results and Navi only won games that went to overtime. The games that they lost, they got beaten quite hard by BDS. So I think it's just one of those game 5s where BDS was still the dominant team. Just Navi were able to keep themselves in the series a bit. In terms of these two teams, I do think Luminosity are a stronger team. Just looking based off their previous results, Luminosity frequently make it midway through a tournament where Navi very rarely make it past the first stages. And in that sense, Luminosity should win this. But Luminosity have a habit of losing to teams they shouldn't lose to and then coming up against a team like BDS and then getting knocked out with that. So I personally think it's going to be Luminosity, but in the same way Shogun does. I'm not 100% confident in it, but it should go that way.
All right, so if we flip it then, what does Navi have to do to beat LG? I mean, you say it's kind of close already.
Wait and see what LG we're getting, because on paper, it feels... This is the reason why it's so difficult.
It's game
form. You look at Luminosity's players, and you feel like they should be doing well, but we've been thinking that all season. And we keep getting here, and we keep predicting them, and then we keep seeing them go out. So that's where it gets very hard.
All right, well, we got 70% to 30 in favor of Luminosity heading into this best of 5. It's going to be interesting. Let's see if chat is correct. Chat has been, I want to say chat has been right most of the time. Chat is always right, is really what I want to say.
We have very different relationships with chat.
Listen, look at this, 69%. Nice. 31. Is that the lock-in? Is that the official? 70-30. Okay, we'll take it.
We'll take ourselves over into game number 1 then, Gregan. So Luminosity against Navi. Both of these teams need big performances if they want any chances of going over to London. We're already in towards the latter stages of this season. It's flown by, mate. It's ridiculous. We got this. We got one more regional, and that might be it for some of these players as well. Not just to make your mark on this season, but also to set yourselves up well for next season.
Oh, beautiful.
Top sets himself up well for this first goal.
Yeah, you can just see a little bit of hesitation from Virtuoso on the defensive side, gets himself in an awkward position, and Tox plays it around him beautifully with that double tap. Very controlled there, and that's what we really want to look out for in this Luminosity side. All 3 players very mechanically capable, but sometimes they can get a little bit too passive and unsure of what they need to do. And moments like that from Tox, it's a good sign. Confidence at the early stages.
Reminder as well that we've got multiple streams going on right now, so if you want to be able to check those out, be sure to just open up the category on Rocket League. I'm sure you'll be able to find something around there somewhere. Tox, has he got
another one?
Oh my goodness, he almost did. What a play that would have been. Tox popping off. Whoa, Atomic, just going to leave it for now. WP down the line, does well to avoid the first bump. Tigray back into the play. Ixo, though, will have the target man downfield, and that's just popped away from Virtuoso. We've spent a lot of time defending so far in this game, more than he would like. Navi being forced to play down this line every single time. It's fair for them this time. They have got a bit of boost stolen. Does mean that they can try and set up a little bit better. Virtuoso might have been able to leave that one for a teammate.
Yeah, Virtuoso just getting a little bit too close to the play, and what that's leading to is him having to back off and sit backwards to the play. And we've seen it twice now in defense, where due to him being too close and backing off, he's been easy to beat in defense. And you saw it just there. When you're close to the play, you have to be so reactive to those close range shots that sometimes you make the wrong decision. Trying to set up the double tap there, Tox going to send it away, not letting him do what he has just done to Vert earlier. So early stages, I think we're seeing Luminosity in a stronger position, but Navi just warming up at this stage.
Yeah, for me, Luminosity just look like the more assured of what they're trying to do. Every time they get the ball, they're hitting it cleaner, making the first decision and sticking to it. On the other side for Navi, there's a couple of hesitations for me. It has meant that they have been significantly slower at times. Tox, though, over the wall, does need the support of Ixo, and he does get it. Back to the midfield, nobody around. Tox flicks over the top of Tigray, needs the support of Virtuoso. Luminosity, for the first time in a while, back in the offensive position. Great block there from Atomic. Probably the best positioning we've seen as well from Virtuoso. Actually came in and joined the play at the correct time. Rather than, as you mentioned earlier on, Greg, and just getting there too early and being forced to slow down and stop.
Yeah, interestingly, the hesitation and the static nature of their movement is leading to getting boost starved quite a lot. One of the great advantages of moving around the pitch fast is you do tend to win that race to the hundreds. Frequently, Luminosity just winning out those little one-on-ones on the boost, but we will see what will happen as the game goes on in terms of that boost management, because it really can massively switch just based off of one missed boost, and then suddenly your team's on the back foot.
Oh, good first block for Virtuoso, and he's unlucky to not get the drop down in time. Instead, Ixo counter-attacks, and Navi will be distraught with how this is played out.
Yeah, you see Ixo just off the post of the net, catches the last defender out. Louis P sitting a bit too far forward there, gets caught off guard, half flips his way back, but at that point he was too static, so not able to get back onto that ball. Ixo with the breakaway, Luminosity looking solid.
Well, at least it's fixable over on the side of Navi. But they'll be very disappointed with the positioning. Just getting a little bit ahead of themselves at times. As Atomic, though, Ixo would have liked it. I'm sure he had plenty of flashes in his mind as to how that one was going to play out. Didn't quite get the pass that he required off the backboard. It's a floating one. Makes it easier for the defender to use. Offense, you prefer things just to be a little bit more snappy, a little bit more chaotic. Again, Tox, not going to have any problems with this. The only problem he does have, though, is the lack of boost. This is buff the demo. Oh, that's the worst possible bounce for Louis P. And Virtuoso couldn't put it on net. Nothing dropping for Navi.
Well, Tox not got much boost here. It's going to be rough for him. Tigray comes in, reads that bounce down. Tox was boost off for a long time there, and that's a risky play from Ixo and Atomic to be doing when your defender's got nothing on him. Tigray just in a much stronger position to read that one, and is going to get a goal back here for Navi. Can they bring it back in this final minute?
And Tox had no boost for a while. We were on his camera earlier off the backboard, and he still had 0. So maybe an opportunity to get back into this, or maybe not. Ixo re-establishing the 2-goal lead. And definitely a much nicer and easier goal for Luminosity.
Really smart there from Atomic. Not trying to outplay too much, just trying to draw players in. Knew we got it past one, so then just look for the 50-50 on the second. Easy clean up for Ixo coming in. And I think that's really where Luminosity are looking stronger right here. Just in that neutral game, they're not finding themselves overcommitting too often. And it means that they're able to sustain that midfield pressure for the most part. And that's where they've kept the pressure on against Navi. And when they've been in defense, they've never really looked too dodgy, except for that Tox boost starving moment earlier on. So they're going to maintain this play style going into the next. It'll be up to Navi to adapt unless they can pull it back here. looking unlikely. Vert, good save away. And Luminosity, we said at the start, they are the stronger team on paper. It's whether they come out and execute it. And so far, I would say we've seen a stronger looking team on the side of Luminosity.
Yeah, this is the version of Luminosity that we prefer to see. It's one that they can do all right with, especially when they do feel more comfortable in the matchup. And speaking of the matchup here, Gregan, we were talking earlier on about Navi, and it's not like they were dominated in terms of possession in this game. They have had plenty of the ball, haven't really had much of a chance to use it, and it just seems like they're snatching at the chances, like they don't believe they can hold on to that pressure.
Yeah, I think really Louis P was struggling to get control of the ball, often getting beaten to the ball, often finding himself mispositioned, and that is where he struggled to get himself in the play, where all three players of Luminosity firing and getting involved in the offense. But what else has been happening around the RLCS today, the Tour de Rocket League?
Well, believe it or not, more Rocket League matches have been played. I know it comes as a surprise here for lower round. Should I just leave it there? More matches have been played. Back to you guys. And that's just it. 0-0 Nation beating EG in their first game here 4-2. We have Guild beating Misfits
EG
in their first game. Those are the results so far. I mean, you guys talked about just going back to the series at hand here. You guys said if Luminosity is in shape, if they're in form, it should be done with. So does this mean that they are in fact in form, seeing this game one?
This is still a team that can get pretty wibbly wobbly halfway through. If
Wibbly wobbly.
Right now, if Navi stay as they are and do not adjust and do not sort out this positioning, it'll be fine. But the moment that gets sorted out, then it'll be over on Luminosity. And will they respond? Well, but for now, not on them. It's not a problem they've even got to think about.
Gregan, are they wibbly wobbly?
Well, I mean, Luminosity, if they play at their best, are one of the best teams in this region. And as they formed at the start of the winter split, we were definitely thinking this could be a team that makes their way to LA. And I still believe they're a team that can make their way to London, but they just seem to fall short in really important matches or come up against a tougher team like a BDS, and having a very big losing record against them has really let them down. But I think this is their time. If they're going to do it, they've got to do it now at the end of this season, because like Shogun alluded to earlier, there's not much time left in the RLCS 21-22 season. We do need to see them step up now if they've got any hope of making Worlds.
Oh, what a shot! That is atomic! Beautiful crossbar in.
Oh, look at the slot Tox put it in as well. That does not look like a scoreable position right there, but Atomic bending himself around that ball, using his dodge so well to send that bar down. And this is the kind of Luminosity that you've got to be scared of. They can turn any situation into a goal.
Whoever does win this as well is going to be taking on Dignitas in the next round. So, for Luminosity fans out there, they'll be sort of looking at it going, okay, same as usual then, in terms of the bracket they tend to get, but you've got to win one of those. You want to start getting a nicer seeding position in the future. Fortunately, it's been a position they've been sort of stuck in for the majority of the season. However, up against Navi, they have been the better of the two squads. Seagray booms the ball clear. Again, that midfield slowly getting closed in on by Luminosity. This time doesn't work. Off the backboard, are they going to get anyone there in time? Ixo pretty unchallenged, really, as Navi were more willing to back off.
Yeah, you mentioned about Dignitas in the next round, and I think if you'd said that in the fall or the winter split, you'd have been quaking in your boots as Luminosity.
Yeah.
But based off the Dignitas we've seen recently, that's definitely a game Luminosity wouldn't mind going into.
Is that of the four teams that we've got in there, is that the team you would want? We've got Vitality, Dig, Semper, and Endpoint. Is Dig the one that you would want out of those four?
Oh, that's a tough question, because Dig, when they step up, that would be the scariest of those teams. But I do think there's no free games in Europe. There's always going to be a potential for a team to be scary. Even teams like Navi, we mentioned frequently come last within RLCS. They're still a team you've got to go into fully focused. But I don't think right now Dignitas are the weakest of those teams in terms of form. And so it would be one that you would feel confident to go up against today.
Here's Louis P in field. Didn't quite find the shot that they needed, and that more goes to what we've seen from Navi, where get one opportunity and don't really make it count. Remember, their only goal they've got so far was off the Tox 0 boost. Now in the midfield, nobody facing the play. Louis P forced to scramble back. Virtuoso joins him. After game gone, Navi Again, putting themselves in good positions. I like their transition play. They've got to score off this one, however, and Virtuoso will.
All three players getting involved in the play here. And Tigre, I think, must have called the fake here because Louis P was so sure he was going to miss that. Virtuoso positioned nicely in the midfield to clean that one up. A little bit of speed in that counter-attack. That's nice to see from Navi, as opposed to the static nature in the first game. Could this be the start of them warming up into it? We do need to see them moving at speed like they were just there, because otherwise Luminosity will just utilize that space too well.
Yeah, for me, that sort of goal was the best of what we've had from Navi throughout the series, where transition-wise, they've been really good. It's just been holding on to it has been my big problem with them. But hey, you only have to hold on to it for 3 different possessions, then you're perfectly good to go and put it in. It doesn't really become much of a problem anymore. As Ixo, the only one willing to challenge this one off the backboard.
Oh.
And what positioning that was from the goalkeeper.
Oh, that angle from Ixo was so vertical, sent it almost straight down. Positioned keeper, those are frequently ones that you own goal just because the ball comes flying at you. They're positioned nicely on the goal line to send that one away. I'm not sure they knew a huge amount about it once the ball was hit, but they did position, as you said, super well. And
I think even if you don't know much about it, it was important that it was Vert that got the save, because he's the one that has had a few position. Okay, there's no one there.
Yeah, speaking of Vert, where is he? Where is he in the net
Where's
here?
anybody? We got Tigre. There's the hesitation we spoke about earlier on as well.
Yeah, it's so easy to charge down a static player. You know, the speed at which everyone plays at in RLCS now, as soon as you're static, players with momentum will charge you down and the majority of the time win out those possessions. So those little static moments, that's where Navi have got to be careful, because Luminosity will punish them.
Oh, Tox hasn't quite got the boost to play over the top of everybody. I'm sure he'll be more happy to run out a boost over there than he was earlier on his own goal line.
1v1?
There's Louis P. Oh, well.
Maybe not.
Did 1v1 by the end, but you certainly were correct with the original call. But that's back to the recovery that we see from Luminosity. They have got such an incredible way of getting back in the pocket. We see a couple of... All right, Tox is starting to figure out new ways of dealing with the 0 boost. He's still on nothing.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum is such a key factor when you're on lower boost as well. Like, if you can land with speed, it makes your recovery that much faster. And that's where Atomic came back in that 1v1 situation moments ago. And there's going to be an opportunity here. Tigre far and out. Louis P across the goal. And this is time for Tox to take it away. He takes control of this ball. Going to go middle. Atomic's up. Shot on net. Saved away at the point of shooting. And this is an important moment here. 15 seconds left. Navi need to find a goal quickly, or they're going to be on match point. Triple match point as Tigre comes in, shoots. Tox sends it away.
Tox
Virtuoso. He just keeps going for the ball with low boost, but finding those angles so beautifully. And that's going to be it there as Ixo gets the 3rd goal for his team.
All right, so for those of you out there, there's a game mode that people play where if it's 1v4, they'll have the 4 with 0 boost. I feel like Tox has only been training that this week.
Wow, Tox is one of those players.
This is the most I've ever seen a player with no boost.
Yeah, Tox is one of those players who works on a lot of the off-the-ball mechanics quite nicely. He's one of the main wall dashers in Europe. I've seen him do it multiple times compared to others. So he's very aware of how to utilize momentum with low boost, keep himself in the play. He's also very selfless. He loves to lead boost for his teammates. So definitely a player used to being on lower boost. And you can see it being so well executed, knowing when to go, when not to go. So fair play, Tox, doing his bit for the team, letting them collect all the hundreds.
All right, well, let's get our eye in the sky back in here. Orb, how are we looking across the field?
Well. We have Misfits finally responding here to Guild. They won their 2nd game 3-1, tying up the series 1-1. And we had EG beating out 0 Nation 2-0 in their 2nd game, and they're also tied in the series. I mean, we talked about no boost. Doesn't boost just make Rocket League a little bit too easy?
Yeah, but then that's how we get all of our great plays. That's how we get all our resets. But I do love how we've been able to talk about this as well, because you're getting to see here how unsurprisingly, being fast makes it easy to get faster in a series like this. If you've got the boost, very easy to go and get the next boost after that one. And if you're stuck with 0, then you're in a bit more of a predicament, because you've got to make that decision. Do I want to sit here in the position that works best for my team, or can I time it correctly to pick up a couple 100 or a couple of small pads?
I mean, maybe players are starting to feel the pressure a little bit. You know, obviously these series, Luminosity is the only series here that is 2-0. But in the other series, the 1-1, the kind of the back and forth, is it the make it or break it, I don't know, mental attitude that comes into play that makes players maybe a little bit shaky?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I mean, you've just come off of a loss as well, so you're going to be feeling a little bit down, and you know the journey's just been made much longer by your own underperformance in the upper bracket. But at this stage, I'm sure all the teams in that lower bracket have got a heightened state of caring because they cannot lose now. This is their final chance. Lose this and they're out. And that's what Luminosity are playing like right now. They are playing like they want to win this whole tournament despite going down to that lower bracket early.
Well, you want to talk about real pressure as well. Misfits will be carrying a whole bunch of that in their series against Guild. Misfits just sat on the outside. They're on the right amount of points, 290. For getting over to the London Major is the block there by Luminosity's defense. But they're stuck down there against Guild. They lose that. Everybody swarms on their position. As we now see Atomic.
This is nice.
Go the entire way, and he certainly can. If you've got no one back, Atomic will drift it in.
Atomic, that ball looks good on you. Just jacked it up the wall, and he is just better than all of his opposition, making them look like diamonds as he carried that ball through the air. Is he going to be able to stay the knight in shining armor that this team needs to win the whole game? Atomic is just such a fantastic player, and it's moments like that where you really see the difference between Luminosity and their opponents.
The question does become, though, once again, for Navi is the positioning. Because usually when you see plays like that, there's somebody on the backboard. Yet the best positioning they had was maybe at like the second row of small pads.
Yeah, he carried that well over them.
From them.
It's the way he managed to reserve that boost off of the wall. He used no boost to correct himself initially, so through the air dribble, he was able to carry an extra 20 boosts worth of air dribble further than anyone was expecting. And that's where he caught him off guard off the goal line. And we could talk about that goal for ages. Air dribble is definitely a mechanic we don't see as often these days as the flip reset is an option. But when it is done well, it looks so beautiful.
Yeah, it's the teams that are able to mix it up as well. You can catch you in a bit of a 50-50 if you're a defender. As Virtuoso down the other side of the field. Navi, rare time in offense for them. They've got to make the most of it. It's not going to get much better than that. As Virtuoso will scramble the ball across the line. A lot of the goals looking very much like this, Gregan.
Oh, Louis P, 1v3 in the air, just sent it up himself, took it past two, and then 50-50'd the last. Virtuoso just coming in on cleanup, and that's the kind of play we need to see from these guys to show they are capable of outplaying the likes of Luminosity, who are so well structured as a team normally, but you know, a good outplay, a good solo play can definitely make its way through one or two of them.
Off the wall, Ixo up against Louis P. Does win that race and wins it clean. Double commit there as Tox looks to take his opportunity. Atomic was not far off. Had to pre-jump just to get even close to that ball. Luminosity, you know, the passing isn't always perfect, but they do their most to try and get there. This one, a lot better setup, called off Ixo's chance. And just far too long, Virtuoso could reset.
Tox dangerous.
Oh.
So nippy. Look, when Tox has got the ball, he looks so nippy. Very hard to read when he's close to that ball. Very unorthodox dribble. You know, we often see people setting up dribbles, whereas with Tox, it's almost so chaotic, he's not sure where he's going with it. And so when the player looks to come in for the 50-50 or defend it, it's always hard to know what angle to come in at.
Yeah, Tox does not commit early at all. He just sits under the ball for a really long time, and he's always got that option just to pop it back out in front of him to go for the 50. As Atomic, again, back in that midfield. 1-1 here with just over a minute and a half left in game number 3. Elimination game as well. So Navi really fighting for their tournament lives. Booming clear once again from Atomic. He has not done anything when it comes to a soft hit down the field, but double demo, and Tox is back at the perfect spot.
Oh, Tox is just, look at him. He's just such a nuisance when he's close to that ball. He's often delaying his approach on those 50-50s, making it hard to know when he's going to go for it. And he reserves himself till the last moment to jump at it. So sometimes you think he's going to jump in on the ball, makes the opponent hit the ball away from themselves. And in Rocket League, the greatest thing you can do is use your opponent to control the power of the ball. And he does that just there as the opponent hits the ball into him and he just deflects it onto the net.
Just got everybody scrambling. It's so hard to read in that. The default reaction now from Navi has been, well, can we outpace him? And in this situation, outpacing Tox just means that he can deflect it after the fact. That 2-1 lead, under a minute left now. And it has been Luminosity with one of the most assured performances we have seen from them. Across the field, important interception there by Tigray. Virtuoso wanted Louis P to get to it, can't do that. Ixo doesn't get the second touch, but stealing some boost, almost became the target man as well. Yes, once again, as always, Tox first line of defense. He's just going to go, and it's another transition downfield. Might not get the goal from it, but still he sets up and he does get the goal from it. What a play, what a set, and what a way to potentially move on to the next round.
Doing that all with 0 boost. We've spoken about his chaotic challenge game. We've spoken about his momentum control on 0 boost. What a beautiful combination of it just there to set up the close range shot for his teammates. Tox has been a superstar this series, not only with his own plays, but with the way he's been opening up space for his team, doing very selfless 50-50 game. And in this occasion, he's going to try and get another 50-50 to send it home. But at this stage, Navi need to score 2 goals with not much time left. It's going to be near impossible as a 50-50 or 2 will take that ball away. Ixo, 2 seconds left. I don't think we're expecting it to happen, but it is possible now.
Spanish kickoff time, boys. Do something. You're going to have to get that ball popped up into the air because once they hit 0, ball cannot afford to hit the floor. Let us see what Navi have got up their sleeves.
Long kickoff, most volatile of the kickoffs.
Oh, that's perfect.
Not so volatile when it stays in the middle. And we're going to see a sweep here from Luminosity Gaming, controlling the pace of the game, controlling the space on the pitch. And that man, Tox, was the superstar the team needed, opening up the space for all the goals and scoring a few for himself. Well played, Luminosity. You'll be going on to face Dignitas in the next round. But what's been happening elsewhere, Mr. Orb?
Well, maybe Luminosity, can they even stop to like take a breather here, or is it just stay locked in for the next matchup? That is the question. In terms of the other matchups, EG is up 2-1 in the series against 0-0 Nation after winning 6-3 in their game 3. And then Misfits with Jorby in full support, 2-1 currently against Guild. Current matches, 0-0 Nation is up 1-0 in their game 4. And Guild is up 1-0 in their matchup. And here we are seeing, well, that can't be, wait, is that right?
Well, I hope this is right.
All right.
So it's overtime, right? We're seeing...
I will say that is a phenomenal studio that I'm seeing right now.
Oh, that's the Dutch studio. I assume they're commentating in Dutch, or is it in French because it's Solary? I'm unsure. Which language do they go for? But yes, this is a full Dutch team here in Solary. Ocelon, Tho, and Mike Boy represented the Netherlands in the Intel World Open as a team, but Solary are traditionally French org with a large French fan base, so there'll be a lot of support for them going into this. But this is against one of those newly formed teams who went through the Open qualifier. How are you going to pronounce that? Is it
we need to just commit
that
to
we need to decide.
Aogiri, which one are we going to go with?
I think
I've been saying Aogiri, but I think that's incorrect. I think it's Aogiri.
Oh, Solary coming in and winning it, but Aogiri?
I'm going to go Aogiri. There we are.
Yeah.
All right, do we all decide Aogiri? Is that it? Is that
Yes.
the chat? Are you with us on this?
Chat will never. No, we're not asking chat. All right, they'll split. It'll be 50-50 between them. This is a big match, though, for Misfits. They're a team that are sort of on the cusp right now of potential qualification for Worlds. They've got that 9th spot right now. They're sat behind Carmine and Team Vitality. And if they do want a chance to go to Worlds in a potential maybe wildcard spot, they got to win this. As for, we spoke about this earlier on, Greg, and the pressure. There's no pressure on Guild right now. Their season is building next season. It is all on Misfits.
Yeah, Misfits are that team that just keep narrowly missing out on those big opportunities, especially when it comes down to the third regional of the split. And I think they seem to underperform in those big matches, and that's something they need to get over. It's something that Evil Geniuses and Team Queso, now Moist, got over to make their way to LA for the winter split. Misfits just lagging a bit behind on that clutch factor, and hopefully for them, this will be the split that they do so.
Yeah, for Misfits, getting to a major would be very helpful when it comes to their overall points tallies. Not far off it, but going out this early today would certainly be quite a dampener on it. Probably require them to get a top 3 at least for the next one. So, hey, when you say it like that, beating Guild might just be the easier of the 2 options.
Listen, production is now saying Algeri. If I'm understanding that correctly. Algeri is how you pronounce that.
All right, well, lock that one in the back of our minds.
I feel like I'm going to forget.
Sounds like you know someone called Jiri and they've just accidentally knocked into you and you go, ow, Jiri, right? Is that how we're going to remember it?
Sure. Shogun, so what do you think of this Guild Misfits? What do you think of this? What do you make of this Guild Misfits here? Who do you think is going to snipe it in the end?
Oh, dear me. I was kind of hoping there was going to be like a demo or something so I could wrap that in for just as brutal as that was from you towards poor Gregan. Oh, dearie me. But yeah, as you in the right spot. I've got eyes everywhere right now. I'm trying to use like as many monitors as I can to watch as many games as I can. I've got eyes right now on the Evil Geniuses game because they're in a position very similar as they've just got themselves a 2-1 lead. But they're in a position very similar where they've kind of been the nearly men of European Rocket League, finally put that behind themselves in our previous split. But I believe the performances that they had during the last tournament that we had, they went out far too early for their own standards. Down in that 12th position during the last tournament. That was not good enough, and they're another team that could really do with making the major.
Devo getting that bump to open up the space for Doritos Flick. So Guild are going to equalize over in the Misfits game. And the winner of that will go on to face an Inform Vitality. So that's going to be
happy we're on Jorby's camera for this one because Guild right now have like some fire PNGs or GIFs that they've got on their stream right now.
They do some wacky stuff over there.
It's a full meme stream.
They have some memes.
They don't have Ian this week, and there's still full whack mode.
I mean, that's what I love about the team streams is that each team get to have their very own broadcast, right? So whatever that means to them. Right. I think we might have lost Shogun. Sorry. Let's see if we can get him back. All right, but we got overtime here, Dragon.
Big game. Misfits win this, then that puts them through against Vitality. Guild, like Shogun alluded to earlier, are in a bit of a rebuild phase.
Rose, and I look terrifying, so I think production just didn't want to subject people to that.
Guild winning it. So we're going to be into game 5 between Guild and Misfits there.
Oh. What is it? Misfits fans out there, I have a question for you. Why do you do this to yourselves? Like, no part of this season has been easy or I would describe as even fun. What is keeping you holding on?
Well, I mean, it's the story of perseverance, surely, Shogun. It's the storyline of never giving up and pushing until the end and keeping every game as close as possible.
Look,
every series
if every Misfits fan sounds like Jorby during our green room before every RLCS broadcast, this is the reason why I asked, because he just doesn't sound like he's having fun.
Well, especially in the closed qualifiers, because they've gone to Series 5 in both the spring closed qualifiers to make it to the RLCS. So they've left it till the last moment there. But yeah, we are watching Algeri. I've forgotten it already. Algeri.
Remember, Algeri.
Algeri. Yeah.
There you are. Bang your knee if you want to get it right.
Yeah.
G like giraffe.
Yes.
Yes.
Orb's got it. Orb knows how to teach casters how to do names.
Listen, that's all production. They wrote that. I was like, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, but it's now yours. It's the same with any stat we get. It's not direct. It's ours.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. You're welcome, by the way. You are very welcome.
So from what I've heard, Stizzy's been the star player on Algeri. It's Ocelon, fellow Dutchman to the Solary team, has teamed up with 2 Spanish players, VK Salen and Stizzy. I think Stizzy has surprised a lot of people, very much like new to the RLCS scene. was looking incredibly good in their first series. So definitely the one to watch on that team.
Does anybody know the backstory behind Aogiri? Aogiri? Oh, no, now I messed it up.
Aogiri, remember?
Yeah. Does anybody know that? Is it an anime or something? I don't really...
You see,
is that
Stacks
far-fetched?
thought the same thing. So maybe Stacks is onto something here. Me and Gregan were like thinking it was maybe like some sort of flower or what was your thing? Seaweed.
Sounds like a seaweed genome.
Like seaweed.
Yeah.
That's your first connection? Aogiri, seaweed.
Yeah, like algae.
Ah. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
Solary closing it out. There we go. Fair play.
We don't have to worry about the name anymore.
Yeah, it's make it or break it here in lower round 1. I mean, 7 seconds. A lot can happen or something like that, right?
Yeah, but not 2 goals. It's impossible. No. Nobody's ever thrown away a 2-goal lead with 7 seconds left.
What is the minimum amount? If a team is up by 2, when do you call it? Like, how many seconds away do you be like, yeah, this is over? Or what, when there's still a chance? Also.
Are you talking about like in the back of my mind or what I would actually commit to on broadcast?
Well,
in my mind,
obviously
I kind of give up with 20 seconds left. On broadcast, I refuse to say anything until 0 seconds.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you watch a fair bit of games. Eventually, some things got to be like, well, this is just not happening in 10 seconds or 15. All right, so 20 seconds. That's your
Jorby's
upset
upset me. Jorby, what is this?
So we've lost the Tokyo Ghouls now in Aogiri, being out of it. Algeri.
Oh, that's an anime.
Yeah, that's where they're from. But
is it?
Yeah, apparently so. I was going to say the guild stream, they've got Stevie White in for Ian this week, so that's probably an interesting
Just
stream.
as loud as always.
Yeah. Stevie White famously champ 2, which we got to respect.
Famously, every single time anyone meets him, hey, you're champ 2. I'm so glad nobody meets me like that.
Well, this is a close one, though. Game 5, no goals yet.
It is. It's also must win for Misfits. I mean, I cannot understate. You've got 1 more tournament after this. Maybe 2, but if you're out here, it's probably 1.
Yeah, for Guild, they don't need the results right now. As you mentioned earlier on, a bit of a rebuild phase for them. They're focusing on London's the only thing they can focus on. Because the rest of it's all gone.
Listen, let's do a little listening to see if Jorby is hyping up the boys or if they can make it. Let's do a little listening.
That one taken away. I think I have to disable the sound alerts, actually. That one definitely needs to be disabled. And Dorito pushing that ball back out. Devo dropping the ball. Cash has it. Cash, 2 touches around CRR. Matane can't get by him, though. Arju, again, across the wall. Devo tries to get the clear, but Arju's still there. Cash in front, beats CRR to the ball. Matane has to play defense because here comes Dorito getting harassed by Cash on the back end. I'm absolutely correct. Matane pops it back over to Arju. High touch for Arju. 2 touches out. Matane has no boost. He just needs to leave. Cash needs to come in. Let Cash come in here. You only got 16. Oh, no. That's not what you want to see. Here comes CRR, and it's taken away. He didn't have any boost. I think it was dangerous to let Matane just sit in midfield there. I think if Cash could come up and Matane leave at the same time, that one will definitely come in. Devo forces that ball up high. Arju's got the boost to get to this ball, but can he follow it up? No, CRR's going to get a free touch. I'm absolutely correct. There was no orange car there. CRR, big dunk, and Cash, that's a decent touch. Not good enough, though. Dorito still got control, keeps it tight. Arju got caught looking the other way. Matane tried to square up. He's got it. And Devo, that touch is actually good for CRR, but Matane wins it. Here comes Matane. He doesn't have the boost. Devo's forced back. Arju almost gets demoed on the play, slips it back across. Dorito, gonna push it high. Here comes Cash again. Got 2 touches out, but he doesn't have the boost. Has to let it drop. Matane, he's got to flip out. Gonna let Arju come in, play it around CRR. Those transitions haven't been nearly as effective as we approach the end of regulation in Game 5. Oh no, Cash, that's a huge whiff. Matane, he gets there in time to buy time, but a big demo. CRR, it's a weak touch, and Arju's gonna get there. Please stop, not during the game. Cash gonna pop that one up. Dorito popping that one over to CRR. CRR gonna push that ball back downfield. Around the corner, he's got control. Gets the bump. Oh, goal! I told you physical play was going to decide this series. And you don't get to watch that replay because I got to disable sound alerts. Okay. Removed. All right. Sound alerts are gone. Kickoff. 7 seconds. Misfits. Pops the ball up. Devo's got there, but Cash has a chance. Puts the shot on target. Dorito looks for it. Arju got the pop up. Cash, he's got the catch, only 30 boost, but it's taken away. Matane up for it quickly. Back over to the corner. 2 touches. Doritos got the kill, and Guild eliminate Misfits. They go 0-2.
I wasn't the only one hearing that scream, right?
No. The thing is Jorby's that talented where he can talk and project through. I think that it just comes from like the very back of the diaphragm where he can create 2 different talking noises at the same time. That one did sound like a scream.
Yeah, variation of Mongolian throat singing. He's managed to master there. The scream and cast.
It's a hybrid. It's a new way to cast. Why not? All right. Only available at the Misfit stream. Please check out Jorby for when they play next, which might, it's gotta be a while. All right. Yeah, not today. Not today. Listen, we got to do the thing we like to do. Well, we don't really like to do, but we have to do. Take a break, all right? Recoup a little bit. Get ready for the final series or the final round of today, which is going to be lower round 2. So get your drinks, get your snacks, get ready. We're coming up lower round 2 right after this. Please stick around.
Missing Stockholm land was like really frustrating for us since we were like really close. We came 6th in that split. So we were really confident coming into the next split. So yeah, we made the LA major, which was really huge for us, for like the world's points. Now the London major is even harder to make and like even more important to make because we get even more points. I would say like London major is like the most important one. So yeah, we have to give it our all.
Made it awkward for themselves and it's gonna go in 1-0. And Misfits just got themselves all tied up.
Even after the first regional coming top 16, it's still fine. We're really hyped for the next regional, really confident to make worlds. It's still our first season together. Coming now 6th place right now in the overall leaderboard. It's pretty good, I would say. So yeah, we're really motivated and really hyped to make worlds.
Play and Swift, but they're trailing here as Ivan scores. They shut you up.
I think we're all equally motivated, yeah. We just, as a team, we like understand each other really well in real life. just like to motivate each other. We like to hype each other. We just need to keep grinding. We can't take a break right now. We just scrim every day, like no excuses.
Double the lead. Catalysm does 2-0 with 21 to go.
I mean, after the first regional, now it's really hard to make London. I mean, I really want to make it, but like Worlds is just my main priority right now. That's my dream, of course, and I would be like the happiest guy in the world to play in there.
Again, and Catalysm to get there. Ivan wins it after 10 minutes and 15 seconds. We're headed to Champions Field.
And boy, losing the longest overtime.
All right, welcome back. The bills have yet again been paid. We are still in business. I can't believe it. It is fascinating as we are approaching the final set of matches here for today. We're talking about the lower round number 2. Now let's check out the bracket. And if you guys, did an untimely bathroom break or something like that, you missed any of the results, you have them right there. You got the upper bracket and you got the lower round 1 below there, heading into lower round number 2. Now, Shogun, I'm going to start with you, okay? Is Vitality going to make it until tomorrow? That's what I'm going to ask you.
They should. If everything has been going as well on this roster move as it has looked like it has been, then yeah, this should be a win for them. But again, as I mentioned in the previous round, they're the team with pressure on them at the moment, and Guild are looking to play spoiler.
Had they surprised you so far?
Which team, Vitality or Guild?
Vitality.
It's hard to say. I don't know what to expect. I was almost kind of anticipating coming in this to this split, maybe a little bit more of the same. But yeah, Radosin's addition seems to just short them up. So back to good old Vitality, and we'll see what that version of them can actually take them to.
Well, here on the main broadcast chat, we are going to check out EG versus Semper. That is going to be the final match here tonight. We still got the team streams going on, so please go ahead and check those out if you want to see the other matchups. Gregan, obviously Semper, they switch Archie for Exotic. How has that impacted them?
Well, I think it was definitely not Semper's choice necessarily. You know, Archie going over to Endpoint, definitely the stronger team taking Archie away. But it seems like Semper have come out better on this because Exotic has looked amazing. Definitely one of those French players who seemed to find himself short of a top roster. Now has finally found himself with two veterans in Cassio and Shazette, looking comfortable there, and was one of the strongest players in the first regional we saw a few weekends ago. So Semper have done very well out of this roster move in the end, which was kind of unexpected.
Now, we actually got to sit down with Cassio from Semper ahead of the regional, heading into Worlds, and he had this to say.
The London Major is really important for us to qualify for wildcard mainly, or World directly if we do a great result. The 3 first spots for the World are really tough to get. So getting through wildcard is the ultimate goal, and we will try to get it a good result to get there.
With Cassio chance for a shot, and below the crossbar, he will snipe.
It's been a long time that we didn't add World Championship. The game changed a lot on the play style, on the community, on every aspect of the game. We definitely want to win there and to be able to have a good showing. It's the end of the journey that's the most important most of the time. So we really want to make it.
You have to force the issue. And this is what they can do. They certainly can play that way and equalize instantly.
It's important to not have like a too big goal at one step. I think it's better to have like some middle step so you can see that it gets better. As an experienced player, sometimes it feels a bit awkward because when you make a new team or you have a new roster, then you feel like you went backward a bit sometimes and you need to do some steps and objectives that you already done before. So I think it's important to have that.
Central from Shazette and Cassio off the back of that will win the game for Semper.
This tournament realistically is top 4 that we want to securize more points. After that, then it's just bonus, and we want to win as every tournament, and we will give our best and try to play without pressure when we'd be top 4.
Where's that pinch going? Cassio gets it all the way into the corner from absolutely nowhere.
Flying from that back line, and there is nothing Astral is able to do.
All right, so well said words there from Cassio. I mean, it's got to be tricky. I mean, rebuilding a lineup or not really rebuilding, but changing out a player, adding in somebody new, it's always going to take some time to kind of get used to each other, the synergy, maybe the unspoken synergy as well of finding each other in the right opportunities. But now we are going to throw up our predictions, okay? You see the hashtags on your screen. Feel free to join in. All right, Gregan, no, never mind. Shogun, you're going to begin with your
I look
prediction.
like I was definitely the more comfortable to predict that, wasn't I? This is must win for both teams. Both of them are just sitting on the outside right now of those top 4 spots, which is all currently Europe has when it comes to guaranteed later round stuff for the World Championships. They're also on the outside looking in when it comes to heading over to London. I'm gonna go with Semper. I think they've got a little bit more clutch to them. I see them taking this, but I also see a game 5 in the wings.
All right, Semper for Shogun. Gregan, make it or break it for both teams here in our final series before tomorrow. Who do you got?
This is a massive series. I don't think people quite realize how big this is. This is 5th in Europe in the rankings in Semper versus 6th in Europe in the rankings in Evil Geniuses. Either one of these teams is going to be looking for Worlds right now, and it starts right here. The winner of this will be going all the way to Worlds, I should imagine. This could be that turning point, and I think it's going to be Semper. I think the full French rosters are too strong in Rocket League right now. French comms is fantastic. These French players feel so much more comfortable when they're with French comms. We've seen it with BDS, and that's exactly what we saw last regional with Semper performing so much better with Exotic. Who do you think, Orb? Who you reckon?
I want to believe Semper takes this. Okay, I want to believe Semper takes this, and I want to see what chat thinks, okay? Is this one-sided? Is it about 50-50? It is very much 50-50.
I think that's fair.
Listen, you guys are right. It's going to be a close one. Let's see who's it going to be, EG versus Semper. I believe game one is just about to begin. It's got to be a doozy, guys. It's got to be a doozy. 50-50 split. I don't think chat has actually been close to this 50-50 today, right? I think it's been like 70-30 for the most part.
It's definitely been easier coming into this, but yeah, this is a big one right now. Right now, Europe, after what was a worse performance for them over at LA, is currently looking at only 4 guaranteed spots in the latter stages of Worlds. Both of these teams are sat at 5th and 6th. They're both 400, 500, no, more close to 500 points behind where Endpoint currently are, who have that 4th spot. So if Europe can have a really good showing in London and get that 5th spot back from themselves, then whoever wins this is in prime position to try and get that. So there's a little ifs, buts, and maybes when it comes to that 5th position, but you want to try and get a hold of it. It starts with winning this game.
100%. And Semper, the team that had the better full split, you know, they came top 4 at the full major, bagging themselves loads of points, doing well in the online stage as well. And then the opposite was true for Evil Geniuses. They did well in the winter split, but not quite as strong as Semper did. And I think really now, Semper was a massive question mark, is would they be able to recover after losing Archie? And it seems like Exotic has fit that role perfectly. And we mentioned the change from English comms to French comms. That's going to be a change up for them. I assume they had to change up a little bit of the coaching staff in the background. I think they've now got a French coach. So a lot has changed for these guys, which we've seen to be quite an effective thing to do going into this split. Changes always bring a new level of motivation for a team.
And also the thing to note on this one as well is that Vitality are the team behind both of these squads. Another 400-point difference there, but you go out here and Vitality beat Guild, and suddenly you start dropping points at a time where Vitality looks like they might be in prime position to go over to London and shut that points deficit down by even more. Just so much riding on the line, and you've got to step up in this game, in the lower bracket. As Catalysm delays it. And drop down, Exotic. Not a booming clear, though. Instead, he set it up for Casio, and what a pass that was. Just fainted out going for the boom, and instead found a teammate.
Yeah, well, we put Semper down as a team of synergy before. They always used to pass so well. And unfortunately, the meta has shifted towards more mechanical plays, which is what Exotic has brought into this team. He's the one who's opening up that space for the mechanics, but that team synergy still remains as we see Casio in those beautiful positions so frequently, ready to redirect or boom that ball on target.
Yeah, and for Exotic, this is a move that was perfect for him because he's a player that's always been so highly mechanical, not really had much of a chance to show it. But what a task it is to come in and replace Archie and put Semper's hopes for their season on your shoulders. Because Archie was always that player for this team, and they are looking for him to be a little bit of an easy slot in to continue on with that style. Shostet, low boost. He's looking for some support. It does finally come in. Right now, a lot of danger. That 1-goal lead, very tenuous for now. Rizex, the pass to Catalysm. It's far side and a little bit far wide.
You speak about slotting into teams, and who better to slot in with than Shazette and Casio, 2 veterans of the scene. You know, we're losing a lot of the old guard of Rocket League, but both these players did appear in the Worlds just before the pandemic. So Season 8, Casio was there, so was Shazette. And, you know, they've been and done the whole performing at the high level, performing under pressure, winning events, doing the rounds, and it's now a chance for them to pass that expertise onto Exotic, who's got that new wave mechanical energy that we're seeing so many of these top teams like Moist come through with. So hopefully that's the winning formula this team needs, because right now they're definitely the surprise of the spring split so far, and will they carry that on with this regional as they've started strong in this game? 1-0, looking to put some pressure on the Evil Geniuses, who've looked a little bit tame so far in this game.
Yeah, as for Evil Geniuses, my eyes are always just on Catalysm. He's just going to pop off at any moment, but so far kept very quiet. That was a little bit wasteful, actually. Had a chance to try and isolate a low boost Cassio. Instead, just settling for possession down the other side of the field. A possession that will not last.
Oh, this is the scare.
Here, right
Look
down
at him
the line.
go.
We saw a lot of this from Tox earlier on. Just having that player that can get rid of the pressure that easily is so invaluable these days.
The way he took that down the sideline, not only did he take up a lot of time, allow his teammates to recover, but he starts putting fear in the defense, starts making them question, when can I dive in? What can I do in this situation? And it was a guaranteed opportunity for Shazette if he connected. It was a tough shot to make, but still, to be put in a position where you've got a risk-free goal-scoring opportunity is something that you just cannot look past in the current level of Rocket League. It's so hard to score against the way these players defend. So making those opportunities exotic, but in this situation, left alone to defend. Ivan sends it into the top corner, but it bounces out and away. And Evil Genius's first chance at net in the final 20 seconds does not go in. And that might be the only opportunity they get this game, as we see Semper 1-0 up.
We do go to the final few moments. Just got to lay it to the floor, and Semper Esports have taken game number 1, but I've got eyes elsewhere. I know Orb does as well. Orb, there's a couple of results you need to brief us on.
That is right. There are some... the thing is, it is make it or break it. As we've been saying through lower round 1 and now heading into lower round 2. It is make it or break it. Who's going to make it until tomorrow? We got Guild taking 2-0 against Vitality in their game 1, so they are up 1-0 in the series.
And winning game 2. Oh, that's bad.
Oh my. That's not looking good for Vitality. What else has been happening, Orb?
No, absolutely not. Listen, things are happening, okay? Things are happening. Solary versus Endpoint, 2-0. They are up 1 over Endpoint. Yeah, Luminosity.
Look at the camera later, okay? I've got monitors. I need to keep an eye on it for now.
Luminosity 5-2 against Dig. So it's Dig fighting through lowers. Is this a worrying sign, Greg? Would you say for Dig?
Yeah, I mean, we've just seen the announcement of them bringing in Nick, the ex-coach manager of Queso, been taken on with the Dig team, and it does take a bit of time for a new member of staff in the back room to settle in with the team. You know, things change up a lot. The team needs to start finding where they want to go with it. But Dig have been on that decline. They started and exceeded everyone's expectation at the early stages of the full split, and it's just been going downhill as time has gone on. They really do need to change the direction they're going sooner rather than later, because Landon is a big moment for them.
Yeah, it's certainly, I mean, we were talking about at the time when Dig started to pop off, we were thinking, hey, they're a couple of tournaments ahead of schedule, but it has been regression since then. Certainly up against maybe the expectations off the backboard. Rizex, that's a shot that's not going to really trouble anyone.
This is dangerous. Cassio.
He didn't go for a reset either. I do like the mix-up, and Ivan's doing incredibly well up against everything. He just gets rid of the pressure.
You said about Catalysm being the one to watch. Definitely, Ivan has been a player, when he's playing well, it seems to open up the space for Catalysm. We mentioned how important it is to have those players not necessarily doing the scoring themselves, but creating space. And right now, Catalysm hasn't had a huge amount of space to be able to utilize his mechanics. And he's also, speaking of mechanics, using a very different car to what we're used to seeing him. And he's using the NASCAR stock car, which is a very different look. And you sometimes wonder, is that a confidence thing? Is he doing that because he's not feeling so good about his mechanics at the moment?
I don't know. I've seen a lot of different cars this last week. It's hard for me to tell at this point. Chaussette leaves it.
Oh, beautiful.
What that is. Defensively, how do you even make the decision of who you're going to defend against?
That Cassio clear just put it in the danger zone where both Chaussette and Exotic could shoot it. And this is that modern Rocket League call out. Leave it for me. They'll expect you to hit it, position accordingly, and then it gives that second player the free shot on a static defender. Exotic coming in, banging that one top corner. And when you're Cassio and Chaussette, you are going to trust that call from Exotic. You are going to put everything on him to score that goal, and he did not disappoint.
Chaussette off the ball. He's going to look to try and jump in. That's quite the dive in, though. It's going to be very late getting back, and his team might very well need him earlier than that. Although this shooting, it's not on. I don't even think that was really in a position where you're going to test the goalkeeper, even if you do get power. It's just been EG taking maybe shots, and a couple too many of them against a Semper defense that has proven itself very capable. Chaussette off the wall. That's very close. Close definitely helping out this time around, but Evil Genius is stuck in this side of the field. And do they have the same ability that Exotic has for getting that ball instantly out? Now the answer is no. Casio back over to Ivan. Exotic waiting on the midfield. Here is Evil Geniuses off the backboard. Who's there first? They've got to score that.
Oh, Exotic.
Exotic kept it out again. Chaussette does enough to keep it out on the second time of asking. Evil Geniuses cannot buy a goal for themselves.
It's those clutch moments we ask of these top-tier talents, and Exotic is certainly showing he's one of them. Coming in there, making the miracle save. Not only is he showing his effectiveness in offense, but he's coming in clutch in the defense, which he needs. So he's setting up his teammates too. He's doing everything for this team, and that's going to be a goal. Chaussette coming in, point-blank range, snipes it to the far left, and you just see the synergy on this Semper team is unmatched.
Okay, there's a couple of things happening right now, Gregan, that I'm going to leave for Orb to talk about, but for those of you at home, expect maybe a reaction from me not related to the game that you're currently seeing. Chaussette is off the ceiling, and hey, well, you would have got a reaction if that one turned in. But RLCS has gone full European mode around in the lower bracket. It might get even crazier down there as Exotic off the wall. It's just so annoying if you're EG. Wants to try and set up yet again. Less than 2 minutes left here. 2 goals the better. Still no goals for EG.
Beautiful.
4 goals overall for Semper. They're walking their way for a high-pressure situation.
Oh, reminiscent of past Chaussette there. On the ground, dribbling the ball, creating that space and opportunity, and Exotic just booming that one top corner. There was no threat at all on the ball. Didn't have to avoid anyone. Just had to put it hard and fast on target from close range. And it is that selfless nature of which Semper are playing. They seem to be setting each other up so wonderfully, creating space for each other, trusting each other, which is so key. And they are now 3 goals up for it, as we see Exotic just feeling himself upfield so often, willing to redirect that ball on target. And this is the Semper we wanted to see today against Evil Geniuses, and why we as the desk fully backed them. And Evil Geniuses really do have a lot that they need to step up to go into this next game and even have a chance of winning, let alone this one.
And this is maybe the one really good bit about the fact that they lost Archie, is that the rotation was already focused on him. So when they brought Exotic in, player that they could again allow to play very mechanically, it didn't really change much in terms of how Casio and Chaussette were going to play. They were going to keep an eye on where Exotic was. They were going to try and position around that. And if anything, they look more comfortable in this one because Exotic, I want to say maybe just doesn't cut rotation. As, oh my God, Chaussette. This is the defensive Chaussette that we have bigged up for so many years.
Look at him go. And you said that about comfortability, and I think the full French roster is something we speak about with BDS and how much more comfortable they looked. And I'm sure it must be the case for Casio and Chaussette here. In fact, for Casio, I think he's very frequently teamed up with non-French players. So he's used to speaking in English, whereas now with the full French comms and having heard French comms, they are fast. You know, a lot of their comms are one syllables, like J and all that kind of stuff, rather than in the English, you got to say, I got it. And you can just see how fast they react to the communication as a team. And it's allowing them to play as a team and be effective as a team and win as a team.
Okay, Orb, there's a game that's just ended. I want you to come in here and start talking because, okay, it's another game that just ended. Orb, which one do you want to talk about? The Guild game or the Luminosity game?
I mean, really, take your pick. We had a 3-minute, 31-second overtime that Guild just sniped from Dig.
From Vitality.
No, sorry, from Vitality. I don't know. They are fighting. Guild is truly, truly fighting through this. We had Luminosity. We had Luminosity, just real quick. We had Luminosity beating Dig, which is now correct, 5-0, and they were just hammering them. I don't know what truly happened. And by the way, Shogun, I love that you're staying like up to date with the games as you're casting. You are a multi-talented man. I gotta say.
I'm hyperactive, if anything, and also Gregan managed to convince me to have a 5:30 p.m. coffee, so this is easy right now. Okay, it would actually be harder to focus on only one game for me at this moment in time, but I don't know what I'm looking at. Gibbs, he's got that Gibbs smile right now. It's just like, yeah, this is happening.
Europe is Europing.
But doesn't Gibbs always look a little happy? Doesn't Gibbs always look a little happy though?
Gibbs is just a very happy human being. It's lovely to be around. Maybe the rest of Dignitas though won't be quite as nice to be around if this result stays as it is. That is the result though for Luminosity. Looking at the more positive side of all of this, we've said that they need that result against a team that's seated higher than them to maybe get easier brackets in the future. Maybe it's a bit late in the season, but finally they're on the path to get it, Gregan.
Yeah, and we said Dignitas was the team that's looking a bit out of form, so definitely one that they'd like to take on to get that confidence.
You're up 1-0 in game 3!
Oh my goodness, what are we witnessing here?
You're up 1-0 in game 3!
I mean, at this point, you guys all know who are watching from home. If you want to watch any of these games, the teams are streaming their points of view, so definitely go and check out. If you've got multiple monitors, have them all open. Create your own little workstation now and see as much of the Rocket League that's going on right now, because Europe is fascinating right now as we see what could possibly be considered a coin flip bracket. Any team could win. I think even Direct, our stats man,
coin.
Yeah, he did a coin flip bracket before we started today, and looking at it, I went, that looks about right. That looks like Europe. And right now we are seeing all of those kind of results come through. The unexpected is frequently expected in Europe. And we are here in a game which is much more controlled. Semper looking good.
Gregan.
What's happening?
Luminosity 2-0.
Oh my goodness. Dignitas are not feeling it today, that's for sure.
They've scored 2. Dignitas scored 2 in the first game. They've done nothing since then. Catalysm off the backboard. He's got the set. Nothing is getting past this defense. I say that. I didn't finish the whole sentence, so I'm not wrong. RizX does get the goal. And that's at least something for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, we see a lovely finish there from RizX, finding the far side. Exotic coming inside the goal mouth to try and predict the save, but not able to. And there's only so many miracle saves you can make as a team before Evil Geniuses finally score. And I think that's the story here. Evil Geniuses haven't looked too bad, but they've just not quite had that breakdown to guarantee the goal. They've been relying on outplaying a predicting defender. And right there, they finally predicted correctly on their shot. As we see Ivan coming in, fantastic shot. Evil Geniuses have lit up.
I think this is maybe the most important goal as well, because this is the bread and butter of Evil Geniuses. Get Catalysm on the ball, get him to find some way to style past the defender, and then get Ivan to come in and shoot. Ivan, one of the best shooters that we do have across the RLCS. Just hasn't been in a position to do so in this series. Now shot set. Just sets up, brings in a teammate. Again, Catalysm starting to find his own form, but RizX needs to go earlier than that. Almost got his team caught back in defense, but the rest of the team able to get rid of it. And this is some huge results happening across the RLCS. Evil Geniuses. I mean, whoever wins this is the biggest beneficiary. If Guild can take down Vitality, then whoever wins this is in a brilliant spot with just a position to grow that lead. That's the big thing here, Gregan. We've talked about all the pressure. Whoever wins this is in a position just to create a gap rather than trying to chase down.
Yeah, and then there's also the results of teams like Solary as well. If they make it to London, then that's a team that's working in favor of the likes of Semper and the likes of Evil Geniuses should they win, because that's a team that's not taking a spot from them. Whereas Vitality, like you said, hot on their heels, are a team that wants to steal a spot. Same with Carmine Corp as well. And so all of these teams fighting for that 5th through 8th location are going to be looking closely at today's bracket, wondering how it's going to affect them going forward. Misfits already out of that question. And now we see Evil Geniuses finally deciding to get involved in the conversation, as I think the switch from Catalysm from that NASCAR stock car over to the Octane has helped him play a lot better, because he did not look comfortable before.
The classic placebo, although this one actually, had some sort of actual difference. Just decided to put on the weighted clothing before starting himself out for game 3 onwards. RizX off the wall, back into the midfield, but for the first time we are seeing Semper trying to chase down a game, and it's getting worse for them right now because Catalysm very dogged with the way he's trying to attack the ball all the time. Rizek with an opportunity off the crossbar, and you can see Catalism. He's not going to dive into this. There's no need. They need to full send just yet, as Catalism narrowly avoids being bumped. We need to keep the ball in the opposite side of the field, and it's getting more and more rapid right now. Up on the final side of Semper, they need this. Castillo with the ball. Pass is to, well, Chaussette, but probably not where Chaussette wanted it.
All those bumps there. Oh, Chaussette spawning.
2, by the way.
Oh my goodness.
Got back.
Oh, this is a chance. What a save from Rizek, though. Just pre-jump, saves his dodge, dives at it last moment. And this is another question as well. We said about teams needing to be clutch in these important series, in these important regionals when they need to get those wins. And Semper have always been a team that I'd question. What are they capable of when they're ahead? You know, Chaussette historically, back in the day, was a frequent reverse swept player. And we've seen Semper in the winter split frequently missing out on the upper bracket just through losing their final group stage game. So Semper, a question mark when it comes to clutch for them. And this game right here is the start of that potential debate as whether they can clutch out against Evil Geniuses. Evil Geniuses taking game 3. But realistically, we want to hear about what's going on elsewhere, because this game is just one of 4 that's going on right now, all of which matter a huge amount. And Orb, what's been going on elsewhere?
Well, Vitality just won 2-1 after Gil was pushing them really, really hard. We had, just like Mr. Shogun brought up, Luminosity started very strong with 2-0. Now Dignitas finally fighting back. It's like everybody's waiting until the final moment. It's like, yeah, we got to start scoring now. And Dignitas, oh, that's a 0-second goal. Luminosity wins.
Wait,
that is...
I haven't seen it yet. That's spoilers. Oh my god. Oh my god.
That is... Oof. I don't... What happened? Luminosity...
Oh, that's huge.
Luminosity turned it up.
So anyone who's going to London hoping to cheer on Dignitas because you're a massive, apparently, Jack or Scrub Killer fan, you might be meeting them in the crowd because they are not in a good position to make the major right here. They are out of this regional and they need to have a miracle run in the 3rd regional to be able to even have a chance of making it to London. That is huge.
Who was it that turned around and said, imagine if we got to watch NRG versus Dig in London again? Who cursed that from ever happening? This is...
I mean,
wow.
Speechless over here.
That is, I mean, what a run, what a Luminosity run they've had here. 2 sweeps.
Finally, they got it. Like, this is what we thought they were capable of. Ooh. Okay, that's a good start for Semper.
2-second goal.
Luminosity, it's just... We wanted to see this for the longest time. It's one of those team names that we keep thinking, oh, that's really strong, but you don't really believe they're going to do much because they tend not to. So it's finally nice to see that the Luminosity we were expecting to see a while back has shown up to this tournament, and we'll see them tomorrow.
Oh, is that another goal there? It is Exotic just opening up the net, making it a little bit wider for Chaussette. And Chaussette did sky it there, and that's another kickoff goal. 2 goals in the first 8 seconds. And that is not the way you want to start when you're on match point, as Evil Geniuses will be concerned about their ability to come back from a 2-goal deficit. But there's plenty of time. Semper, strong start here. This will certainly help them with their journey that we've mentioned before. Is so important for them to win this game.
Absolutely so. And 15 seconds in, quite the dominant position to find themselves in.
Oh, what a pass.
Oh, it's just right to goalkeepers, but Castillo will finish it. Semper are reacting incredibly well to any sort of pressure that they might have been under after that previous loss.
I was just so patient there. You see Exotic on the right side just went, I know someone's in the middle here. I've been told that. I can see all 3 of my opposition. If I put this on Chausette's nose, they're going to have to dive at it. And it led 2 players to try and make the save, which then allowed the cleanup from Casio. And that's exactly why you cannot defend your way out of a victory. You need to be aggressive. You need to be closing down those passes, those outplays. Otherwise, teams will eventually break you down. But there is so much time left in this. 3 goals hard to come back from, but there's 4 minutes on the clock still. But Evil Geniuses still have hope.
So much going on. I almost completely forgot Endpoint and Solary are playing. Finally, to get enough monitors available to get that stream up as well. It's currently 1-1 with a 3-goal lead, and a 3-goal lead over here has just turned to a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, Ivan taking Exotic out of the game there. Great 50-50 pinch with him. Rizek's up early. Cassio unable to predict where he's placing it. Close range shot placed on target. Rizek takes them in to 1-3. That is 2 goals they need to come back in 4 minutes. As we mentioned, there's so much time here.
A minute. Sorry, 2 seconds here.
Go on.
I've got the endpoint stuff. I'm assuming you're seeing what we're seeing? This endpoint, I've got Eclipse playing.
That is right. That is right. So we had Wave. Related Wave had power issues. So Endpoints is having to use their coach/sub Eclipse for Game 3 versus Solary.
Okay, well, I hate to break it to any Endpoint fans out there, but Eclipse is not a very good Rocket League player. He's a very good coach, don't get me wrong, but he's definitely not the same level as a lot of subs we've seen come in the past. That is very much a, we do not want to be here, but we are now.
What is it? As Endpoint had the most technical problems. Yeah,
he just scored.
He actually scored.
Fair enough. Speaking of scoring, Shazette making it 4-1 over here, making it very tough again for Evil Geniuses. 3-goal deficit is always difficult to come back from. The frequent forfeit position you'd see in rank.
Guild just scored.
Shogun, there's a game going on.
There's a lot. Yes, there's a lot happening, but this is 4-1. That one's 1-0. Guess which one's more important? There's a lot happening here, everybody. And I am loving it.
And everyone at home who's watching right now, wondering what we're talking about. There are so many games going on. It's only 3 now, isn't there? Luminosity have swept Dig. So that's...
Yeah, that's really helped. I only had one. That's why it helped me get the Solary stream up, because I did not have enough monitors for that.
But this really is the swing regional. The team that does well here, it puts himself in a very good position going into the 3rd regional. So every team in the lower bracket right now wanting to make as long a journey as possible. And Endpoint having to bring in Coach Eclipse at this moment is going to be tough for them. But he does play a lot with the players. I know this, I've seen Relating Wave. I mean, he's the one who's not there, but he does play with the players on a regular occasion. And to have a player like Archie, who so frequently can hard carry anybody, that's quite a good player to be having alongside your coach. But what we're seeing here is Evil Geniuses just too much to ask from them. If Semper just hold it out now, I think we'll see the similar result for the rest of this, where there's not going to be much of a chance now for Evil Geniuses, but they will try their absolute best. What else is going on, Shogun? You're watching everything.
It's 10 seconds left in Guild versus Vitality. The 1-goal lead is all that's left in that one. So if Guild hold on to this, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, just needs to hit the floor at this point. Guild
beat Vitality.
The entire length of the field. They are in their own defensive half. So wall dribble. Redosin, it's off the backboard. I've gone full radio mode for this one. Infield opportunity actually for Vitality, but doesn't look like it's there. Vitality are out.
Vitality are out. Guild have knocked Vitality out of the tournament. Guild causing upset. As we see Vitality, the team that did so well in the 1st regional, are now out. And that opens it up for these 2 teams right here that we're watching. Evil Geniuses and Semper love to hear that, because that puts them in a great position for Worlds points. And
you've got me back on this series now. Great job solo casting, Gregan. I'm back.
Welcome back.
I got to worry about that one. It's Eclipse.
Yeah, so we've got Endpoint Solary also going on, which we think is probably going to go in Solary's favor after that unfortunate disconnect from Wave. But yeah, right here, the scoreline has not changed. It stayed 4-1. Evil Geniuses just not able to break him down.
This has been helpful just to slow things down a little bit. The fact that within 3 minutes, we managed to have Vitality out of the tournament and also have Eclipse joining one of our top 4 teams for their run through this tournament. Made that quite hectic for everybody as we head into final potential 20 seconds for this one. As hectic it has been for us, it has been anything but for Semper. They had a little bit of a rough go of it in the previous game, but for the most part, Gregan, they have been by quite some distance the better team of the 2, and they are the ones that are going to come out on top of the battle between 5th and 6th in Europe, and they make it through to Saturday.
Yeah, if you'd said that Semper were going to be the most improved team of this split, I would not have believed you. I did not think losing Archie was ever going to do them any favors, but they look renewed. They look incredible. They look more French. Now they've got Exotic on the team, and being more French is definitely a positive thing when it comes to European Rocket League, as we are seeing Semper move on.
There's a big news, by the way, in Endpoint's game.
Listen, I mean, you've kind of done my job for me. All right, I can kind of.
Sorry.
I can cut. No, this is fine. I'm actually kind of lounging, checking out the games. Endpoint beating. No, sorry, Solary. Solary
got it.
Endpoint. Yeah.
Wave's back.
6-1.
Wave's managed to get like the bike out, and he's now like pedaling away, trying to power up his entire house whilst playing Rocket League.
I mean, it's unfortunate timing to have any type of tech issues. I mean, we saw with Navi. I forget the player, but it was like they were trying to make it work through all their 3 games in the group stage, and just I think there was the internet that kind of gave out.
Endpoint have had this before, but they had to move everybody into Eclipse's house just to play for one regional because the facility they had wasn't quite working at the time.
By the way, Greg, I love that you're like, Eclipse isn't that good, and he immediately scores. There's some, I don't know if that's karma or if that is a jinx. I can't quite tell, but beautiful moment nonetheless.
Well, what is happening over there? What's the fan cam over here?
Well, yeah, well, I'm intrigued. I mean, Solary just scoring there, and that they're in a very good position right now. They've been given an amazing opportunity with that tech issue. You know, it's one of those things you just have to deal with in any esport. Is the internet is a massive factor, the computer is a massive factor, and not only is it going to be a massive factor on that side of them losing, but for the mental side of this team, that must be so frustrating for them to have that tech issue and feel like they're out of control. So they're going to be struggling to bounce back into this game here mentally as well.
Regan, imagine the Cheshire smile on Semper if they are the ones that move through here and Archie and Endpoint go out, no matter the circumstances.
I mean, they're in an amazing position. And we said about Archie being a superstar player and not quite had the results yet on Endpoint, not necessarily due to underperformance. They've just not had the best of luck in these tournaments. You know, that tech issue is just one of the many things that they've had to fight against. But Endpoint are a solid team. They're in a great position in terms of points to still make worlds, but they do need to tally up a few when it comes to this regional.
Oh, I feel like I need to know what is going on with this fan. Is there any chance, production, that we can get a listen in on this and maybe get some insight?
You speak French?
I don't really know what the fan cam is.
Let's have a listen.
All right, let's do a listen and see what's going on.
Il envoie avec beaucoup de vitesse sur le backboard et on passe devant Wally qui avait la vitesse sur Relating Wave et qui vient mettre le second but dans cette manche. Regardez ça, très beau toucher de balle de taux. Wally qui arrive avec toute la vitesse, qui passe devant Relating Wave et qui vient transformer ce but. Quelle action de taux, quel toucher de balle. Allez, 2-0, 2 minutes 40 à tenir dans cette quatrième manche. On le rappelle, on est à balle de match. Ah putain, et le mauvais kick-off, le très mauvais kick-off après Relating Wave qui a quand même fait de gros travaux ici, qui a été très patient, qui est venu effacer Mike Boy qui a pas eu assez de vitesse malheureusement. Mais il n'y a rien, on a toujours un point d'avance. Ils font juste que raccourcir l'écart. 2 minutes 30, attention à pas se reprendre le même kick-off. Ok, la balle qui a été plutôt bien touchée. Alors attention là, Archie. Oh non, c'est terrible. C'est terrible, on avait 2 buts d'avance. 2 buts qui étaient bien construits. Et ça, cette avance qui vient se faire un petit peu anéantir par 2 kick-offs. Vraiment pas ouf. Et du coup, tout est à refaire. Tout est à refaire. 2 minutes 30. Allez, 2 minutes 30, 2-2. Allez, pas 3 fois s'il vous plaît, sur les kick-offs, voilà, très bon 50 ici, très bon 50 de Wally sur Archie, c'est bon, ce n'est plus un kick-off maintenant, on ne peut plus prendre de but sur un kick-off désormais, mais attention parce que là ça repart avec une balle flottante, baveuse, bien dégueulasse devant nos cages, Mike Boy qui va la toucher difficilement. C'était solide ça dans les cages parce que c'était un gros missile qui était envoyé directement dans nos buts. Là on transpire un peu mais ça c'est une bonne balle. Wally qui contrôle la balle, Wally qui va essayer d'éliminer Mezzanoris, il le fait plutôt bien. Oui, ça passe. Non, on n'avait pas assez de vitesse malheureusement pour faire entrer la balle en force derrière après avoir éliminé un premier joueur. Donc il trouve un contest qui est plutôt pas mauvais parce que c'est Wally qui va reprendre le contrôle de la balle, Wally qui va partir dans les airs, qui va réussir à éliminer Relating Wave, la balle qui flotte sur le backboard, Mezzanoris qui va quand même la défendre assez proprement, Mike Boy qui passe dessus avec de la vitesse. Oh, ça peut le faire, on a de la vitesse. Est-ce qu'on peut la cadrer? Non. Mezzanoris qui est devant les cages, mais on garde le contrôle du ballon. Wally qui va essayer d'éliminer un joueur, mais c'est difficile, c'est trop difficile, on n'arrive pas à le faire. Est-ce qu'on va réussir à défendre? Oui, On va défendre sur le backboard. Micboy qui repart avec un petit peu de vitesse et renvoyé sur Toto qui va essayer de la clear. Wally qui va essayer de contrôler cette balle mais qui va se faire démo malheureusement. Et ça va un petit peu annuler nos opportunités de contre. Cependant, un très bon contest ici dans les airs devant les cages de Endpoint. Et au final, c'est peut-être pas terminé si malheureusement Relating Wave ici qui part avec le ballon qui élimine un premier joueur. Attention, ça part sur le backboard. Mezzanoris qui va pas avoir assez de vitesse pour construire quoi que ce soit ici. Micboy qui va trouver un assez bon clear, ça va gagner du temps. Surtout que To ici va jeûner dans la défense. Il va même trouver une démo avec un très bon bloc. Et là, ça flotte devant les cages Endpoint à 50 secondes de la fin de la manche. Archie qui va prendre son temps. Encore une fois, on a un très bon bloc de Micboy qui permet de redistribuer une très bonne balle avec une démo par-dessus tout. Attention, c'est très dangereux là, le contre est clair. Heureusement, Endpoint qui ne sont pas placés pour pouvoir transformer ça. On n'a pas la démo, mais on va au moins venir gêner le joueur Wally qui élimine un premier joueur. Micboy qui la remet sur le backboard. Est-ce qu'on va pouvoir livrer la balle à un de nos joueurs? C'est au sol, près des cages Endpoint. Oh, le backboard qui est bien défendu par le Relating Wave qui a fait d'énormes travaux sur cette phase offensive. Attention dans les airs, Micboy qui passe en premier, qui va même la retoucher une seconde fois, qui va essayer de la déposer, qui la dépose. Est-ce qu'on trouve l'angle? Non! Une défense énorme de Archie qui vient sauver ses cages in extremis à 5 secondes de la fin. Et là, attention, To dans les airs, To qui a du boost, To qui la met très proche des cages. Et là, est-ce qu'on va prendre le risque? Est-ce qu'on va prendre le risque de la garder en l'air? Oh, c'est très dangereux ce qu'on fait là. Ok, on va la mettre au sol, on va pas grid plus que ça. Allez, kick-off, balle de match, 2-2, manche 4. Let's go, le kick-off est plutôt bon. To il part dans les airs, To qui a un petit peu de boost, qui va essayer de la déposer. Non, ça va pas être transformé directement au kick-off. Et attention, parce que là, c'est potentiellement open. Non, ça va être défendu par Micboy. Wally qui va essayer de contrôler cette balle. Archie qui va bloquer la balle sur le côté, mais qui va pas pouvoir la contrôler. To qui la renvoie directement dans les cages. C'était cadré. Mais évidemment, on était placé côté Endpoint pour éviter le but. Et là, c'est très chaud. On sent que c'est très tendu des deux côtés. Heureusement, on n'a pas eu de lecture de Endpoint là-dessus sur cette phase de jeu. Et là, c'est chaud. On est assez mal placé. On est en train de subir le jeu. Wow, Archie qui a essayé de trouver un double tap de légende. Heureusement, Micboy ici, impérial en défense. Ce contest était très important. Et malheureusement, on va s'incliner. Archie qui trouve un gros missile depuis presque le milieu de terrain. Malheureusement, les kick-offs qui nous réussissent pas. Et nous sommes du coup à 2-2 dans ce...
Listen, it just makes sense that we're going to get a game 5. It just makes sense. Why not go the absolute distance when it's the final round of day 1? Why not? It was kind of written, okay? It was kind of written. It is the main broadcast. Actually, technically, it is not the main broadcast. It is one of the team streams we're kind of listening into. I love, by the way, the French energy and the passion. Can you feel it? He's a one-man show over there, and I'm dialed in. I don't understand
much. 20 people he had supporting him. I still don't know what was happening.
What was the bottom cam? Does anybody chat?
We need
you guys know?
messages about that.
Well, I mean,
there's some multi-content going on. You need that, Shogun. All right, with all the streams you're keeping track of while you're casting.
True.
Well, Endpoint
mixes.
Taking us to game 5. That's exactly what we wanted, right? We saw there was a lot of chaos going on, and they brought that chaos through to the game 5. I'm sure Endpoint will be feeling good, the fact they managed to bring it back after having to play with their coach for a game. But the real question is Solary going to continue their incredible spring split? You know, they came top 3 in the first regional, surprising a lot of people. Can they do it again here? The Endpoint is definitely not an easy opponent to get past.
Who do you guys got your money on, right? If you were a betting man right now, who's sniping this game 5?
I'll go Endpoint, mostly because I really want us to listen in on them and, you know, hear the excitement. I don't want to hear a sad Endpoint. So that's where I'll go.
All right, maybe we can do a little listening to Endpoint and see what they're saying over there.
Micboy, he's got a little bit bumped.
Oh, Archie!
Never going to be that easy. That's off target. Solary not going to be able to score this one either as Oli pinches it up off the backboard. Micboy with a soft poke there again, but a relating wave, I should say. 0 boost in the tank, flexing across with the flip, carrying it away. Difficult 0 boost defense required from Endpoint, but we passed the test for now as relating wave will threaten the double, but it's routine for Foe into the corner, and it's swiped away as well. Archie will be the last man back. He's dunked this time. And still our search for an opening goal here on Champions Field goes on.
First minute comes and goes. Been really strenuous on Endpoint's defense. Archie holding his own once again.
showing that he's such a good defender. Really starts to grind down Solary. Oli up towards the backboard. Archie is able to take that one away, but again, Solary just holding their line upfield.
No
Here
way.
comes Archie, 18 boost. Oh, he gets to the ball. Can he create a chance for Relating Wave? Not quite. As it's taken into the corner by the Solary defense. Here comes Mike Boy, 0 boost. He'll be hampered by Relating Wave. Easy enough save for him. Both nets now being questioned by the opposing offenses. Archie has this for Relating Wave. He's got no power, but he's powering up the offense for Endpoint. 1-0.
A huge goal from the zombie, returning from the dead with his power cut in off the near post. Solary couldn't keep that one out. It's Endpoint who take first blood here on Champions Field. At what cost will that come for Solary here? The pop-up's a little bit too much for Metsanoris. From him, I should say, because Archie couldn't reach it, and he's going to stay close here. It's close quarters play here from both teams. Very physical, but it's Archie who gets the ball spilled towards him. Doesn't make a mess of it. Early flick. Response there from Tho as Solary try and get the physical play to open up the space, but Relating Waves, the one who comes through again, and they got to be careful, Solary. You get the feeling that the more they push for this equalizer, the more vulnerable they're going to be to a second.
And the more frustrated they get if we keep hitting the ball out of the net. And I mean, you saw the double demo there, taking 2 players out from Endpoint, and Solary still can't make heads or tails of how to get past this brick wall of Endpoint. 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Endpoint still with that 1-goal lead, only a single goal separating Solary from tying this one up. They might get it. No Wave! Oh, he slams the door shut! And Endpoint still hold on.
I don't believe it. I swear to goodness they've made too many Spider-Man movies, but if Relating Wave is starring in that one and the next one, then I'm all for it. That is fantastic. Dropping down from the backboard. He's made a stop here, clinging onto the near post as well, spinning that one away down the left-hand side. My boy's going to go fetch, and he plays it up the right. He gets bumped by Relating Wave as well. Archie will take the pot. Though, gentle touch towards Mike Boy, but his flip is a little bit off the mark. Odie will fetch with the net. Open
save, come on!
Stretch, my goodness. And we stay 1-0 up. Can we really keep this up for another 90 seconds?
Well, we've got to, if we want to have our hopes reinvigorated of getting to London, and that might just do it. 1:18 still to go, and Solary's defense just go to sleep. It's actually Wave who blocks out Mike Boy, and Endpoint have a 2-goal cushion now against Solary. The team who came 3rd last time around might be going out in the same position that Endpoint did last regional. Oh man, it might just be a little bit of a good omen. We thank you all for joining us, not here just here on Endpoint TV, but on the main stream as well. Thank you for listening in to us and my broken voice. Minute to go. Endpoint have the chance to get to day 2 of Regional 2, but Oli pulls Solary closer.
Would not be an Endpoint series if it was comfortable. Ladies and gentlemen, thank goodness we do not design luxury or massage chairs, because it's 2-1. Oli brings Solary back within 1, and how the mighty may have fallen with the terrible second goal that they conceded, but they are the ones trying to rise back here in the dying seconds of regulation. It's Mike Boy. Once again, Endpoint, we are on the back foot. As expected at this point, 3 players around the blue net. Limited supplies for multiple players. Oli and Metza just becoming a Jenga stack there for some reason, but it's great to see. A great shot from Relating Wave. Could have nearly beaten out the defense, but now it's Tho bringing it forward, passing it back down towards Oli. The shot is there. It's off the mark. Rebound as well. Archie trying to get the counter straight away. He beat out one. He's running it downfield, but he gets taken out by Tho, and we play on.
But the most important thing is that Solary don't score, and even more time ticks off of this clock. The Dutchmen are going to try their best. Oli gets it past 1, past 2, but cannot get it past the brick wall that has been Archie. And Archie down the other end, just gets blocked away by Tho. Final 10 seconds. Wave is up for this one. Can't beat out Mike Boy. Metsanoris just keeps it down in the orange half. Doesn't want to give Solary the opportunity, and they will not have the opportunity. Endpoint.
All right, shout out to Craftman and Talacto for getting us through that final game in the series. What a day it's been. Are you guys feeling a little bit exhausted? I know. I feel like Shogun is still like riled up.
You know the answer to that.
Shogun is going. He's like, any more matches?
I had all three of my monitors that I was using all started playing the same series, and I was still looking between all of them. It's like, oh, something different over there.
I mean, that was so intense. Like the fact that we slowly got to focus on one game more and more, and ending with such a good ending there of a game 5 from Endpoint, and to come back having to bring in their coach after technical issues. Shout out to, in particular, Relating Wave, who's
Eclipse is undefeated in RLCS series.
What's that? Eclipse?
Does that mean Eclipse is now undefeated in RLCS series?
Somebody said
notice the wording on this one.
Yeah, somebody said 100% goals scored or something. What was that?
Yeah, you got that
100% goal participation. Yeah.
One goal per game is hard to achieve in the RLCS, so well done, Eclipse.
See the end of day stats of that, see if that comes through. But yeah, fair play to Endpoint, really stepping up. In particular, Relating Wave, after those tech issues, came in, played amazingly. The whole Endpoint stream, you could feel the energy from Pylacto and Craftman trying to push them over that goal line, and they did win it in the end. And we'll be seeing Endpoint progressing through to tomorrow. And Solary, who came top 3 in the last event, had a really tough journey, and they're now going to be out the tournament on day 1.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good series to end on, to say the least. But tough for both Vitality and Solary, who did make it really far in the previous one. Now here, looking at the bracket here, you can see all the results from today and some of the matchups heading in to tomorrow. I mean, I want to say rare form for Vitality, them making it really far. Do you guys feel like it's a little bit of a blunder for them not to make it to tomorrow, Shogun?
I mean, the way they were playing earlier on, this is the thing that we get this a lot in Rocket League, where we'll see a team on the main broadcast and they'll look great, and then we turn around for 2 hours and they're out of the tournament. It's just, it shows how hard it is, not only to get to the level that you have to be at to play an RLCS series, but to keep it up and to stay at that level, because once it drops, it's difficult to get it back under control.
I mean, Luminosity, looking at the lower rounds here, Luminosity had a very strong showing in the lower bracket. We got 2 sweeps from them. Are they going to have an easy time with Guild yesterday, or is Guild also fired up about their matchups? Well, obviously their result against Vitality heading into day 2.
I mean, in the same way Shogun just mentioned, throughout the day, performances can change. Day to day, teams can fluctuate so much. You know, they go away and they sleep on it and come back. Will Luminosity still be able to perform at that level they had? Have they unlocked a secret strategy amongst themselves that made them perform as well as they did today? I think it's about time we saw Luminosity perform well. We've been asking the question, when will they make a top 4? When will they make a final? And they've just been short over and over again. And I feel like this is going to be the tournament for them. But I'm really looking at that lower round 3, the other side. Endpoint get to face off against Semper. We get to see Archie versus his old team in Semper. A big old grudge match there. And also, that's 4th in Europe versus 5th in Europe in terms of points.
Yeah, I mean, that is always going to make it a little bit more dramatic. I love that show, and it's going to be fun to check that out. We had, obviously, I don't want to call it an announcement, but the result of BDS being secured for Worlds thanks to their 2 wins today. Them having Seiko on the team, is this like the start of the BDS era, or what are we feeling?
I don't know. I mean, it's been good so far. That's all you can really say. And they'll look to try and keep this going, because this was a move made to win Worlds. And for them right now, everything they do here, everything in the regionals, it's good. But until we get to London and until we get to the World Championship, we can't make any decision on this roster move, because that's why they made it. So right now, it's fine. We'll wait and see.
I hope that fence you're sitting on, Shogun, is not a picket fence, because you're going to be set there a while if you keep with that.
My fence right now is I'm not calling anything an error 2 weeks into it being around.
BDS are the best team in the world. You heard it here first. There you go.
You heard it here first. All right, from Gregan. Speaking of teams that maybe didn't have that strong of a performance, we had Dig once again fighting through the lower bracket yet again. Is this a dangerous sign for them? Is this time to switch something up, or is it form? Greg and Shogun, what do you think?
I mean, at this stage, you've got not much of the season left. So you've got to just play it out and see what happens. And then you've got a long off season to work out. If you don't make Worlds, if you don't make London, you got a long off season to work out what you're doing. And if you do make Worlds, you've got to work it out with that team. There's no changing at that point. You got to find a way to make it work with that team. And if it doesn't, then that's your Worlds experience going to be down the drain for a year, and you've got to wait until the next year, and that's where you're going to have to start thinking about changes.
So if they don't make Worlds, if they don't perform well, what do you think is going to happen?
They'll make Worlds. The problem is right now is that they almost stand no chance when it comes to making it to London. Like, it just, without some sort of incredible run for themselves in the next tournament. And that leads to the fact of, if that's the case, and if they don't make London, in 2 weeks' time is their last tournament until Worlds. That's about 2 months or so they will have of just sitting around waiting for this to happen. That's a bad position to be in. You don't want to be waiting that long with the sour taste in your mouth of not going to an event like London. We'll wait and see, but all indications right now are it's worrying.
I mean, it would be strange to not have them at London, but I guess only time will tell what's going to happen. We're about to wrap up the show here. We're going to end with some final thoughts. All right, Gregan, any thoughts on today? The matches, the players, the vibes, Shogun being hyped up on coffee, anything at all?
Europe does it again. We've seen the classic BDS, Moist in the upper bracket, as expected. Even they were close to not making it, but Moist and BDS remain in that upper bracket. All the other spots is a whole reshuffling of what happened last regional, and any of them could make the final. Any of them could make top 4, but we've seen Europe do it again. It's a right mixture, a right mixed bunch making it into that top 8.
Shogun, what about you? Thoughts on today?
We're just doing what we always do. This is the norm. The crazy is the norm over here in Europe, and we're continuing on with it. But make sure you tune in tomorrow, because that's a lot of open spots available. That's a lot of top teams that have dropped points today, and teams going to be very much looking to try and capitalize.
Absolutely. It's going to be an exciting day 2 tomorrow. Okay, pre-show is going to start at 4:30 p.m. CEST, and games will be live at 5 p.m. Shogun, Gregan, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure chatting with you guys and taking the viewers here through the games of day 1. Really hope you guys enjoy the show. Stay tuned for tomorrow. We got more Rocket League coming your way right after this. Please stick around.
Smoke is scanning to the sky. You can't believe your senses. You think you've seen it all until you open your eyes. I never wanna be alone. This place is cursed. I want you to never leave my side. I run away with you to see some light. When ashes dropping down, we step aside. We dream of feeling something. I want you. I know we both escape to lose the ground. The world we used to know is burning down. We're always strong enough to build our own. We've been running for ages to search some light. I want you. I know we both escape to lose the ground. We've been running for ages to search some light. We can feel